Test 1 2. Everyone, today is September 17th, 2025, and this is the second budget hearing, which I am about to call to order. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Good?
Here.
Vice Mayor Hernandez?
Here.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
Here.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Here.
Mayor Castillo?
Here.
City Manager Dodge?
Here.
City Attorney Gorin?
I'm here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the record, this is the budget public hearing number one. It's the second public hearing on adopting a tentative budget and proposed millage rate for the fiscal year 2025-2026 for the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida. For the record, the purpose is to recompute, and to publicly announce proposed operating millage rate of 5.6690, which is 6.34% above the rollback millage rate of 5.3312, and the debt service millage rate of 0.2862, as well as to amend and to adopt the tentative budget for the general fund, utility fund, and all other funds of the City of Pembroke Pines, and to invite the public to speak regarding the proposed millage and budget. Mayor, the first item on the agenda for consideration and for public hearing, if I may, with your permission, is the motion to adopt proposed ordinance number 2025-12 on second and final reading as the second and final budget hearing consistent with Chapter 200 and 200.065 of the Florida statutes. Proposed ordinance number 2025-12 is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, establishing the operating millage rate of 5.6690 or $5.6690 per $1,000 of taxable assessed property value, which is 6.34% above the rollback rate of 5.3312 for the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, pursuant to the 2025-2026 city budget, and in accordance with Chapter 200 of the Florida statutes, and establishing the debt service millage rate of 0.2862 for debt service on the general obligation bonds approved by the electorate, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Mayor and Commission, item number one, which is the millage rate ordinance, is on the floor for consideration. Thank you.
Okay, we'll hear from the public in a moment. Can I have a motion on item number one?
Motion to approve.
That's moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Commissioner Good. Does anyone in the public wish to be heard on the budget item? Yes. Come on. You can speak and then hand your yellow sheets to the clerk. There's a button there that says speak.
I don't know. This is my first time, so.
Yeah, there should be.
Can you hear me, or do I just press the button?
No, you have to press the button. You see it?
Like that? Wait, Matt's gonna.
What about this one?
Oh, you're on. You're on.
Okay.
Your name and address for the record, please.
Mark Magnone, and I live at 1162 Northwest 182nd Way in Pembroke Pines, out in West Pines.
Welcome.
Thank you. So we're here today because we understand that you guys are getting ready to talk about the budgets and all the things coming up for the year. And I'm a baseball guy. I'm not very formal, so please bear with me as we go through this. As a matter of fact, I wrote notes because Ronnie said that I couldn't wing it. So one, as we're going through the budgeting process, we want to thank you for all the support that you've given us at West Pines. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
all right.
for the record.
For the what? Oh, all right. So one, I want to thank you for all the support that you guys have given us at West Pines over the past however many years. I mean, it's been 30 years that the park has been there and active, and over the last 4 or 5 years since Ronnie and I have been leading that charge, we've had just a tremendous, tremendous support from the city. So as we move forward, there are big infrastructure things that we need at the park, and we need the continued support. New lights, field updates, and things like that. And I'm coming here today to make sure that you're aware of all the things that we do at the park, because we believe that at the baseball field and at the park, it's a big contributor to the city and to the community. So just for perspective for you, each season we have about 600 kids that participate at the park. And that's grown nearly 15% over the last, 4 years every single season. So we started at around 250, and now we've grown it up to nearly 600 or a little over 600. So the growth is tremendous. Now, some of that is attributed to the population, but also some of that is attributed to our stewardship and the things that we do at the park. So what I think is important for you to know is that we do more than just Little League. We host EKG screenings for all the kids at the park. We do a toy drive in partnership with NBC6. We work with the local businesses like Dick's Sporting Goods to host picture days at Dick's, and in return, they give us coupons for discounts for all of our participants. We work with a local Chick-fil-A for games for the players of the game. Ronnie and I spearheaded with our USSSA baseball tournaments. We host a Crushing Cancer tournament in October, and over the last few years, we've raised about $30,000 for cancer research on its own. And just last year, we raised about $60,000 to support the families to go to Cooperstown in the summer. So Cooperstown is like a ritual 12U baseball tournament up in Cooperstown, New York. It's very expensive for the parents and for the kids, and we have to fund it ourselves. So just that alone is a lot of money that we've put back in and raised for the community. So the toy drive, the money that we've raised, the holidays partnership, and then the last thing that I think that we want you to know that we do for the community is we work with the Chevy dealers, and every year they bring in 1 or 2 free baseball camps that they supply for any kid or any player in Pembroke Pines to give them an opportunity to play. And then the last thing is that over the last 4 years, we've created a fund that if any parent or player has a hardship, we have the funds to be able to help them participate. So it's very expensive to play the sport. You need equipment, you need to register both travel and rec, and we've made it our mission that no kid will go underserved. Like no kid will not play based on not being able to afford it. So as we roll here moving forward, we just need your continued support to help us and fund us and support us with the other initiatives that we want to do as we keep going forward. So that's all I wanted to talk to you about.
I really want to thank you for everything that you, Ronnie, the volunteers, the coaches, everyone, parents. It's magic going by that park and seeing so many kids enjoying baseball. And you know, it was always a great league. You've had some days that are not so good, some days that have really been great. These are great days there, and you guys do a lot of work, and it's all very, very appreciated, and it makes us a better city, and I want to thank you for everything that you guys do.
Thank you very much.
We don't do enough for you, but we're gonna do everything that we can.
Thank you. We appreciate your support, and we'll keep on doing it.
We're very thankful to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your message. Does anyone else want to be heard on the budget?
May I just say something?
Yes.
I just want to comment, this isn't the only time that we're going to be talking about funding for our parks. We have discussed in workshops and in other opportunities investing more in our parks, so I really encourage you to stay in touch with what we're doing here, because it's the voice of the people at the parks that usually can sway us into making sure that we're prioritizing the funding. I've said it before, sometimes we hold our town halls regarding funding. Sometimes when you guys are out on the fields and we're not taking those questions out to the field and presenting that to you. So I really encourage you to kind of keep an eye out on what we're doing. I'm sure if you're in contact with your district commissioner, for him to let you know when we're talking about these things, because it's the encouragement from you all that we need to make sure that we are doing the right by you and your kids.
Awesome. Anything we can do to help, whether it's at West Pines or anywhere else, you just let us know, because this is what we're into. So.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Does anyone else wish to be heard on the budget? Does anyone else wish to be heard? That'll close the public hearing. Commissioners?
Mayor.
There's an item before us. Yes, Commissioner Schwartz.
Mayor, the commission tasked me to sit down with administration. I can say that we had a very robust and fruitful conversation that savings were found. I would like, you received the 74 questions that I had asked the administration in the 29-page response. I would like to have what was provided to us yesterday from the administration to be included in the backup under item 1, so that the public knows what transpired.
No objection.
Thank you. We found some opportunities. I identified about 2.4 million. The manager asked me to bring it to you to discuss. We have, under the Howard Foreman.
Unfortunately, I don't have your document in front of me.
It was-
Madam Clerk, is it possible for us to get that document printed and placed before us?
It's 29 pages. It was emailed to us yesterday.
I wish we had it printed here so that we could follow your copy.
I'll be very brief.
Okay, go right
It's not
ahead.
going to require that. So one of the questions I had asked was, there's approximately $2 million of capital improvement at the Howard Foreman campus. One of the items at the Howard Foreman campus was $1 million for elevator capital improvement.
Is that part of the two?
That's a part of the two.
Okay.
The other million is actually a part of our legislative process that's on tonight's agenda for road infrastructure. Now, while there's no guarantees in Tallahassee what can turn out of that, there is a $1 million budget for that improvement.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to set aside that because we haven't gone through the legislative process yet. So now I'm down to just the elevators.
Hold on one second. Ms.
Sure.
Dodge, I believe that we went to legislature for this improvement and they said no. Is that why it's on our agenda?
In the previous year, yes, we are making that request again for our next legislative.
So what's this $1 million for?
For the road network within it, Howard Foreman. However, that budget is necessary to improve the on-site facilities for the park, improving, widening roadways, sidewalks for safety for people walking. It's nothing, I would not recommend deleting that if
Okay.
that's where we're going.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm not recommending the deletion. I'm just advising where there was a potential opportunity if we were to collect $1 million from the public and get legislative assistance replacing that $1 million funding. I just want to make note that we're going to attempt again to try to get $1 million out of Tallahassee to cover this potential project.
Hold on a second. Ms. Dodge, I'm confused. Commissioner is saying that you're asking the residents to pay this $1 million, but then you're going to go back to Tallahassee and ask for the $1 million again?
No, they're two different items.
Explain. Help explain.
Well, I wasn't prepared for this particular one. We had some basic conversation on it, but if we do not receive that money from the state, we cannot do those improvements. So it's not like you're saving it. All the other money that's in that part of the general fund are improvements for that site that we need to make. And those fees are generated from revenues, from rents that we charge for tenants that are there.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, it's not like coming out of the ad valorem per se.
Okay.
All right, so again, I just want to earmark just the asterisk that we just have to keep an eye on that one column as we proceed with Tallahassee and the rest of the fiscal year.
Okay, and
The
the million,
elevators.
and the $1 million for the elevators?
Yeah, so I looked at the purchase agreement for Hayden. It was provided to me, the one that you had signed off, Mayor, back in June.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a provision 11 of the document, 11.1 specifically, and 11.8. 11.8 is specifically regarding the stucco repair that is currently happening and needs to happen. 11.1 has to do with maintaining the asset as we get closer to the closing. While we wait for Tallahassee to complete the sub-lease approval, I queried the administration about the $1 million investment of elevators, which appears to be a capital improvement of large scale with with the caveat that if there were any deficiencies within the buildings of Pines Place, that the administration would notify Hayden of the need to invest or to repair. There hasn't been any evidence that I've seen that Hayden's been notified of a deficiency in the elevator area. So there's $1 million of a potential savings if we do not take on that capital improvement for an asset that we anticipate on closing in a very short order.
Okay, Mr. Dodge, the $1 million
Yes,
for the stuff?
if in fact this real estate transaction closes, any of those dollars are returned to the city, and we have stated that. If in fact it doesn't close, then we would need to budget for that improvement, and so the money needs to be there.
So
If it's not spent, then of course it remains with the city.
Okay, so you're not recommending that we remove this from the
I'm not
budget?
recommending any change in the budget for the Howard Foreman Park.
Okay, go ahead, go ahead, Commissioner.
Yes, okay. So just one counterpoint to Hayden, then I'm going to move on to the last item. So when we, over a year ago, when we put this out and Hayden came forward, in the backup for the potential sale, administration had indicated that if we were to keep the asset and not go out and sell, it would cost us $10 million to repair. Okay, that's in the backup, that's irrefutable.
Is that correct, Mr. Dodge?
What we're saying, it's projected over time, since those buildings are over 20 years old, there's an estimation that there would require improvements to that facility. It's not in the budget. It was just a statement that we made that in future years, there's going to be extensive improvements to repair.
Okay.
Hayden Glades is certainly aware of that. They did their due diligence.
Correct.
They've inspected the facilities. They know in their purchase acquisition what exposure they have. So it's not like it wasn't revealed to them. They did their own analysis.
Okay.
Sure.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is that a year ago, it was in our backup that it would cost us $10 million to proceed. And of course, they came forward with their offer, and it's a very generous offer, and I'm looking forward to closing on it. Now let's get back to the final point.
Okay.
The final point is approximately $400,000. And that has to do with our bond refinance. So we are on the 17th of September tonight. We have not closed, which we anticipate on closing within the next few days and definitely by the end of the month on the bond transaction. Therefore, we cannot reduce the debt that's currently being advertised because we're waiting for the closing. However, in good faith, legally we're on board, but in good faith, we know that we're going to be receiving a reduction to pass these savings along to the residents. Therefore, there's approximately $400,000, I'll just call it, of a rake-in tonight with the approval, if nothing changes. We'll be receiving an extra $400,000 when this transaction closes. My proposal, part of that 4.60 was to neutralize that rake. And so that was, and I had the discussion with the manager last Tuesday about it, and that would bring the millage rate down to 5.6450. And may I, City Manager, is that something you can live with?
Mr. Mayor, first of all, it wouldn't bring the ad valorem rate down to that. It would adjust the debt service millage if that were to occur, and that would occur in future years. So those savings would be realized in that millage rate that we reduce each year. I had this long discussion with the commissioner, and my recommendation at this time, not knowing exactly what is going to happen on the state level regarding any kind of cuts in potential additional homestead exemption and everything else. The recommendation he mentions amounts to about 41 cents a month for every resident. I don't think it's a month. I don't think it's prudent for us to do it at this time. And I would recommend to you that we stay the course and adopt the current millage rate and the debt service millage rate as been advertised.
So final thought, and I appreciate the manager's viewpoint. I appreciate his perspective. I certainly let him know how the residents who I represent feel about that viewpoint. This is the 14th budget that I've had an opportunity to vote on. So that means I've had 13 other budgets that I voted on at second reading, and 12 out of 13 budgets I voted yes at second reading. The first budget that I saw at second reading in 2012, I voted against it, and I let the manager know that if he was unwilling to be flexible, I would be voting no on the second reading tonight, and that would be my intention unless we can make the small adjustment of the 5.450.
Commissioner, let me say a couple things. The first thing is, I have been successful in convincing past commissions, I think even this one, to reduce the millage rate. But my efforts always began at the visioning. They were reflected in my vote at the trim notice, which when that came up, the vote was unanimous for the trim notice. It extended beyond that to work diligently with the manager to find how those cuts would be worked out. They ultimately presented a budget with options. In the past, we have received from administration several options that we could choose from for potential cuts that would achieve our millage rate goals. Your effort to reduce the millage rate, which I generally support, people should pay the least tax they can, didn't come up until first reading. No one here had any indication of that. I know that you met with the manager and you had some notes. I was surprised that they didn't come out in a Monday night memo. I asked the manager, where are the notes from Commissioner's questions and answers? Did you have questions and answers? And he says, yes, we did. But Commissioner asked that they not be disclosed. I said, well, then I'm filing a public records request. We did get them finally by email. We got them late. I didn't get to review. I read the document, but I didn't get to review it in the depth that I wanted because it didn't come on time, and it's not even on the dais now. You've brought up 3 items, which I respect. However, the manager has not recommended any of them. So I would say that if any of us has, or if any combination of us have an intent on reducing the budget, those are comments we need to bring at the visioning hearing. It has to reflect our vote, which it didn't at the trim notice, and it has to carry through so that the staff can have the time and the opportunity to really sort of review the possibilities. Hopefully, or possibly, it depends on the financial situation at that particular time, providing us with the options of things that are doable, things that the manager can actually do. Your motion also excluded police and fire, where 80% of our funding is. And you know, I'm all for providing police and fire with even more assets, but it could be that there's an efficiency in police or fire for a certain amount. You picked a number, 1.3 million. I don't know how you got to that particular number. I don't know how you got to that equivalent cut in a millage rate. But we were looking for, and I'm just going to speak for myself, I said we, but I'm looking for, how do we responsibly get there? You've spoken about 3 items. The manager has responded that all 3 items are necessary. So I don't know where you want to go. If you want to make, you certainly have the right to make a motion, and, but I'm not sure if you made the motion, if any of these 3 items would be there. So I think that if we're going to do something like this, we have to follow the tradition of how it's been successful in the past. And the way it's been successful in the past is you start at the visioning session, which for us will be this coming March. We start with, by the time we're almost finished loading the adopted budget into the financial system, the budget office, as you know, is busy working on the next budget. And we usually have our visioning in March. They set out to do preliminary budgets. They meet with the department heads. Who needs additional things? Who has things that they can give up? What are the differences in the prices of things? We're facing a particularly inflationary time right now. They came up with this budget. It came to us. We sent the message that we didn't want an increase. The manager came back with a millage rate proposal that gave a slight decrease. 5 votes on this dais approved the millage rate. There was never any discussion of cutting it further, putting the staff at a disadvantage. And if you ask 70 questions and they gave you 29 pages of answers, they've absorbed a lot of time trying to help you with your motion. So I have to tell you, it's coming a little late, and it looks like $1 short. But if you want to make a motion, you should make it.
When a clarification, my motion was on the floor and
No.
seconded. Oh, okay.
I think he wants to amend.
Okay.
Is that correct, Commissioner?
Well,
Want to amend the millage rate?
well, so let me first respond. We received, staff provided the commission, because I received the same email at 6:54 a.m. yesterday. More than enough time to review page 1, page 2, have a cup of coffee, read page 3 and 4. 7:54 yesterday. Mayor and Commissioners attaches a public records request for Commissioner Schwartz's questions regarding the proposed budget 25-26 as discussed at the first public hearing on proposed budget. Included are the questions and responses by the city administration, signed City Manager Dodge, which now is going to be included in the backup. So the public can see the work that staff did and questions I had answered, I had asked for. To say that there wasn't a discussion during workshops, I think is not correct. There were many times that throughout the year, I questioned certain expenses, one of them being owner's contingency on vendor contracts. The manager provided a response during our workshop, and it was discovered that the majority of the time, 10% contingency was never achieved. And so we haven't made a final decision yet, but we certainly discussed during that workshop, what was it, Commissioner Good, about 10 days ago, about modifying whether or not 10% contingency should be the right number, or if we're going to reduce that to a different percentage. To say that I haven't asked questions throughout the year, I think is
No, that's not what we said. Hold on. That's not what we said. What we said was that if you had an intent on aiming at a particular millage rate, like you did in your motion at the last meeting, you owed it to this body and to this staff to say so much earlier than the first reading.
Well,
you didn't do that. Not even at the trim notice.
Well, let's talk about the trim notice. What was discussed at the trim notice was something extremely. I had a discussion with the manager prior to the advertised notice that we voted on in June. I had asked are we going to have the reading in June this year? Or will it be delayed like it was last year because we did not have the state numbers?
Mr. Dodge, did that conversation take place?
I don't recall what he's referring to. In June,
In June, we voted. and we brought it,
in June, you vote on what
The
the
advertisement.
advertise would be based on our estimation.
right.
The commission voted unanimously to advertise what you have on the agenda this evening. August 1st, the detailed budget was provided to the public. It was online as well as provided to the commission. So between August 1st and the first reading of the budget ordinance in September, there was ample time to have those discussions with me or address them at a public meeting, and that didn't occur. What occurred after the first meeting was to come up with 1.2 million something in savings with no explanation of what those may or may not be, just indicating that the manager should do it. This commission made the statement and asked for you to meet with me, which you did, to come up with those. We didn't really come up with any. The only thing that was finalized after that meeting was your recommendation of the $400,000, which has to do with the debt service millage, based upon the savings that we realized by refinancing those bonds. But that won't take effect to the following year. So the residents will see that decrease as they've done each year, but in the following year, that decrease should even be greater, unless something happens with the economy and they make changes in homestead exemption, values of properties decrease, then you run into the issue that you're not bringing in the same amount of money based on that millage. I'm very concerned what's going to happen in the future, that we don't lock ourselves, that we do not have the sufficient funds to provide the level of services that we've provided here on an annual basis for the community.
Okay.
So,
And that's why I made my recommendation
we're gonna
after
have to-
speaking with you about
We're gonna have
that.
to wrap this up.
The manager had a very long-winded response to the fact that we did not advertise the current year's budget, the 24-25 budget. We did not vote for that in June. We voted for it later because we were waiting on state numbers. And my question was, are we going to do the same this year or not? And it was on the June, which was traditionally. But we have had special meetings in July to set the trim notice. But this year, because of the way that the BCPA, or the tax collector at this point, the way that the days fell, that wasn't an option. So would this be an appropriate time for an amendment?
Please, make your motion.
My motion would be to amend the millage to 5.6250.
Is there a second to the motion? Hearing none, the motion fails for lack of a second. So we're back to the main motion. Is there any further discussion on the item?
Mayor, I just
Yes.
wanted to thank Manager Dodge and his team again. I first met with them mid-June. I spoke with them even while we were on break and came in, and to his team in August, also with his assistant city managers, Assistant Manager Stam, Golding, Jonathan Bonilla. I wanted to thank all of them because this is a very professionally done budget, which I believe a budget in a municipality or a county is a statement of the values of the community and what we value. And those two gentlemen that came earlier from West Pines Optimist, which I appreciate that they come out here. This budget helps to fund those parks and those programs for our children. It helps to fund the world-class police officers and detectives that we have, and our fire rescue department, which is Class 1 or Class A rated, top rating that you could have as a fire department. So in other words, in Dodge I trust. I will be supporting what the manager and the administration has proposed.
Does anyone else have a comment? I just also want to thank the manager Mr. Dodge, I think you had to, in order to reach the millage rate number that we had, you had to overcome, I think it was a $4 million deficit?
Actually, when we started the process, we were at a $20 million deficit.
So,
So based upon requests that were made, we had quite a chore to go through this.
I have to tell you, the fact that you had a deficit of that magnitude, people don't realize the same inflation that we pay at home on insurance, on the price of things, the city bears the same challenges. And this staff and the manager found a way to eliminate $20 million worth of spending in order to afford you. It's not the biggest tax rate cut that we've ever had, but it's not an increase. It's a reduction. And I'm very, very proud of it. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
I wanted to make
Oh,
just
I'm
one
sorry.
last comment. I
I'm
wanted
sorry.
to thank administration and Ms. Lisa Chung so much for their hard work. And if all of you are here because of the budget hearing, welcome. If you guys are waiting for the commission meeting, welcome as well. And I want to encourage you all, this budget is online. And the moment that we close out this year's budget, we start working on the next one. So there's never not a time to be looking at the budget to evaluate maybe some priorities that you see on there or that you don't see on there, and to let us know either on our personal channels or on our emails. All of that information is online, and we do have an email dedicated to budget questions, budget@ppines.com. If you guys have any questions, whether it's right now, even though we're passing the budget shortly, or in the future, please make sure that you're reaching out. This is a continuous conversation amongst all of us, and because this is the budget that we pass, it doesn't necessarily mean that's the budget that we have to spend moving forward. So if you feel like that there's something you don't feel, is appropriate, or you want for us in the future to look more into, please feel free to always reach out. Our administration, and I hope I can speak for all of my colleagues here, are more than willing to talk to you all, answer your questions. And when this looming question of property taxes through the question on the state comes forward, we need to be very much aware where our tax funds are being spent, and I encourage you all to do so. So thank you so much to administration.
Thank you, Commissioner. Points well taken. Mr. City Attorney, the threshold to pass this budget tonight is 4 votes. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Good,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
No.
Mayor Castillo.
Yes, and by your vote, this budget is adopted. The next item, item number 2.
Mr. Mayor, for the record, that was the millage rate, and that's
Yes,
under item number 1.
correct.
And the permanent number for the purpose of the record is 2051. 2051. Number 2, with your permission, Mayor.
Please.
The millage drives the budget, which is up as item number 2 for public hearing as well. It's a motion to adopt proposed ordinance number 2025-13 on second and final reading and consistent with Chapter 200 of the Florida statutes. Proposed ordinance number 2025-13 is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 and adopting the 5-year capital improvement program for the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, in accordance with Section 5.08 of the City Charter, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and finally providing for an effective date. Mayor and Commission, item number 2 on the floor for consideration and public hearing under state law. Thank you,
I
Mayor.
motion to approve, Mayor.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Schwartz. Is there any discussion? Any from the public? Any from the public? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Vice Mayor Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Good,
Yes.
Mayor Castillo.
Yes, and by your vote, this item has also passed, and that concludes our
And
work.
for the record, Mayor, if I may,
the
the
budget.
record
Yes.
needs to reflect that item is number 2052 is the permanent reference for public record purposes. Thank you, Mayor, and the
Thank you
state.
so very, very much. Okay. We will gavel in the regular meeting of the Pembroke Pines City Commission meeting of September 17th, 2025. I will ask you to, in a second, to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Today, we have the Franklin Academy Chorus. Wow. And they are here. This is the Pembroke Pines campus, K through 12, under the direction of Marcos Rodriguez. And I think there's 20 to 24 of them. And I'm going to ask them to line up. And first, folks, what we're going to do is we're going to do the pledge, and then we're going to turn it over to you for the national anthem. So you tell me when you're ready, and will you all please rise? Mr. Rodriguez, will you lead us in the pledge, sir? Yes, sir. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wow. That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you so very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the Franklin Academy Chorus. Wow, what a treat. Thank you so very, very much. Okay, announcements of items to be pulled from the agenda.
Item number 11 has been pulled by administration.
Okay, any others?
No, Mayor.
Okay, presentations. Just give me one moment. You got the mic? Thank you. And Commissioner Rodriguez and Vice Mayor, if you would join me, please. Okay. This is a proclamation of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, declaring National Hispanic Heritage Month, September 15th to October 15th, 2025. Can you read the first two? She'll come up in a second.
Whereas National Hispanic Heritage Month is observed each year from September 15 to October 15, honoring the cultures, histories, and contributions of Americans whose ancestors come from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, Central America, and South America. And whereas this month-long celebration begins on September 15th, a date of great significance that marks the independence anniversaries of Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua, followed by Mexico's on September 16th and Chile's on September 18th.
left mine up there. Whereas Hispanic and Latino Americans have profoundly influenced our country and community through their strong commitment to family, faith, hard work, service, and perseverance, enriching every aspect of society, including business, government, education, science, the arts, sports, and public service. And whereas in our own city, the Hispanic community continues to shape our identity, and future, contributing greatly to our local economy, cultural vibrancy, and civic life. And
whereas we recognize and celebrate the generations of Hispanic Americans who have inspired us with their resilience, creativity, and achievements, we reaffirm our commitment to fostering a community where diversity is embraced by everyone and everyone is empowered to thrive. Now, therefore, I, Angelo Castillo, Alcalde de la Mejor Ciudad en el Mundo, the City of Pembroke Pines, along with the City Commission, do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th as National Hispanic Heritage Month in the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida. Encourage all residents to join in celebrating history, heritage, and the accomplishments of the Hispanic and Latino Americans with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Now, to receive this is a wonderful friend of the Hispanic community, a leader in her own right, Liza Arazo, who is here. And we want to thank Liza for everything that she does, not just for the City of Pembroke Pines, but throughout South Florida. And this is for you. Felicidades. And why don't you say a few words?
Thank you.
I didn't get a kiss.
Thank you. I am honored to receive this, especially from the City of Pembroke Pines, the city that is blooming and making it happen for us Latinos. So thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, commissioners, for this great honor, and I will treasure it, especially coming from Boricua.
And let me just say thank you, Liza, for everything that you do to bring Hispanics together and to bring everyone together around Hispanics and to bring Hispanics around everyone else. The celebration of diversity is that we all have a part. This is not just Hispanic Month for Hispanics. We all get to be a little Hispanic this month. And when it's Black History Month, we all get to celebrate in that. And when it's the other month, we all get to be that. Everyone together. That's how you build one seamless community of people who love one another and get along with one another and good neighbors, and we get, that's the American way. So thank you very, very much for you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may say something real quick
Please,
before you
please.
let Liza go. She is tremendous in our Hispanic community, has been volunteering, doing incredible things. But not only in the Hispanic community, but she is also a very strong presence in our veterans community. I would like for her to be recognized for that as well. So thank you
very much. Thank you. Now, Bina Fink from Senator Geller's office is, we're going to do it, okay, great, let's take a photo. Thank you. Bina Fink from Senator Geller's office is here with some guests. You want to come up? Did you want to come up and introduce them? Vamos. And Bina told me they have a present. No hablan inglés. Okay. Y que viva la hispanidad. Bienvenido. Bienvenido. Okay. And they have a presentation for the city. Okay, they're going to bring it to us. And they're from where? So you're the mayor, el alcalde. ¿Y su ciudad es cuál?
Buenas tardes, good afternoon. My city is Guarne, it's next to Medellín. Mi ciudad es Guarne, es cerca de Medellín. Thank you for, gracias por recibirnos en esta importante reunión. Agradecemos mucho al alcalde, a Ángelo, a María y a todos los comisionados. Estamos aquí también haciendo unas gestiones muy importantes. Hemos logrado, gracias también al apoyo del doctor John Ospina, con mi director de Seguridad y Convivencia, con la doctora Vina, acercar temas muy importantes para nuestro municipio y estamos muy complacidos de poder estar aquí en esta importante sesión.
So he is the mayor of a city near Medellin, and he's here on a trade mission. And he drove all night and all day just to be here in Pembroke Pines because this is where it is. Please. Okay. We'll be here for a little while. Okay, and then we'll come back. Okay? Y muchísimas gracias. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Mayor, a pleasure. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. No, you can go. All right. This next item. This next item is very, very near and dear to all of us. This is a proclamation of the city of Pembroke Pines proclaiming Deborah Rogers Day. Whereas after serving the city of Pembroke Pines with unwavering dedication for 24 years, Deborah Rogers will be retiring on September 30th, 2025. And whereas Deborah began her distinguished career with the city on September 18th, 2001 as a clerical specialist in the Community Services Transportation Department, and whereas Deborah transferred to the city clerk's office in May 2004 as a clerical specialist, come on over here, under the supervision of then city clerk Eileen Tesh, I remember Eileen, she was lovely, and was promoted to deputy city clerk in March 2005 under city clerk Judy Nugent, also a lovely person. Continuing her service in that role under city clerk Marlene Graham. And whereas through her strong work ethic and professionalism, Deborah was promoted to city clerk on April 2nd, 2024, marking the culmination of a remarkable career dedicated to public service and organizational excellence. And whereas throughout her years of service, Deborah consistently demonstrated a high level of commitment, competence, and integrity in every role she held, earning the respect and admiration of colleagues, city leadership, and the public alike. And whereas her retirement marks the conclusion of an extraordinary public service career that significantly contributed to the effective and transparent operation of the city of Pembroke Pines. And whereas on behalf of the City Commission, we extend our deepest gratitude to Deborah for her exemplary service and dedication and wish her continued joy, health, and fulfillment in her retirement. Now, therefore, I, Angelo Castillo, by the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Pembroke Pines, do hereby proclaim September 30th, 2025 as Deborah Rogers Day in the city of Pembroke Pines, and urge all citizens and employees to join me in and the City Commission in honoring her exceptional contributions to our community. Deborah, happy Deborah Rogers Day. And now you get to say a few things other than people's names. So say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor, City Commission, thank you so much. And Mr. Dodge, thank you. Mr. Gorin and his team, thank you so much. And then I see the sneaky people that came in at the end. Thank you so much. Can I have a picture with them, Mayor?
Please, absolutely.
All my staff is here.
You can do anything on Deborah Rogers.
And Gabe, if you could come on down. I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for recognizing my tenure here with the city of Pembroke Pines. And love you all. It's been a good ride. And the next season will be even better. Thank you so much. Those two people here are staffers from years ago that left, but they came back. I don't know why. Okay, thank you.
All right, you get to stand in the middle. Deborah, you get to stand right in the middle. It's all about you, girl. All right, there you go. Good. Congratulations. But your work's not done. We still have a meeting to run. And Gabriel Fernandez, say hello. He's our new city clerk. So congratulations. Okay.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Well deserved. Congratulations.
All right. Boy, those kids could sing, huh? That was good. You enjoy it? Franklin Academy.
Yeah, Mayor, I don't know if you saw the news, the fantastic announcement out of West Broward High School. They have been honored by the great-grandson of Winston Churchill. They are going to London, and they will be in the London's New Year's Day Parade in 2027.
Wow.
So I'd love to be able to get that entire group here, when their time allows. But fantastic announcement.
Mr. Manager, maybe we can invite them to play the national anthem for us, and I hope somebody, London's is far away, and it's an expensive trip. I hope somebody can create a GoFundMe page to help these young people represent Pembroke Pines in London on New Year's Day. It's a significant honor and very much deserved by a band that works very, very hard. And thank you, Commissioner, for bringing that up. Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, may I say something real quick?
Please, please.
I just want to follow up on Hispanic Heritage Month. These are words from a gringo, right? So I just want to say how very proud I am of all the tremendous accomplishments that the Hispanic community has made in this country as well as in this city. I do know firsthand the difficulties that are faced with many of the Hispanic culture that moves over into the U.S. and the challenges that they receive and some of the resistance that they have received. And I've seen the courage and the accomplishments that were done. And all I can say is that thank you very much. And I also want to give a lot of love and thanks to my Cubanita,
Your Cubanita.
my own Cubanita, Patty, for teaching me the value of all there is Hispanic. So to you all, it's my honor and a pleasure to serve with my Hispanic colleagues as well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
If we're going to mention that, there is a great event happening. I'm sure you all know, but as a reminder, September 27th from 5 to 9 p.m., we're going to have some amazing artists come perform, even some great hits from the salsa classics out in Hollywood actually making their way out here to Pembroke Pines. So very excited and looking forward to that event. Hopefully we can all dance some salsa and have fun.
I agree. On March 17th, everyone is Irish. And during Hispanic Heritage Month, everyone is Hispanic. And whether you are or not, we love you. And come over and let's have some fun. On a point of personal privilege, I want to wish my wife all the best. Yesterday, we were married 36 years. And gosh, it seems like yesterday, but in her case, she says, oh, isn't it closer to 40? But that's okay. She hasn't left me yet, and I'm very thankful for it.
Mayor, if I could have a point of personal privilege.
Yes.
2 weeks ago, Stacy and I celebrated 26 years of marriage.
Wow. Congratulations.
And so I told her, I said, listen, I said, Stacy, I said, I really need you to embrace your mistakes more. And she keeps hugging me. I don't know what it is.
Is that the mistake? I don't. Okay. All right. Consent agenda. consists of items 1 through 12. 1 through 12. What is your pleasure? Actually, it's 1 through 13, City Attorney?
For the record, Mr. Mayor, item number 13 is a quasi-judicial consent item. In the absence of a member of the public, a member of the commission, or otherwise having to pull the item would be considered as a consent item and would not be heard in full, but is agreed to under the Code of Ordinances as being acceptable legally for consideration by the
Okay,
mayor and
does
commission.
anyone here wish to pull item 13? Does anyone here wish to pull item 13? Seeing none, item 13 is in the consent agenda. So it's items 1 through 13. Commissioners, what is your pleasure?
With the exception of 11.
I motion to approve.
Except
Is it-
11 for the record, Mayor.
Sorry?
Except for number 11, which was pulled.
Except for number 11, which was pulled.
Thanks,
That's
Mayor.
correct.
I motion to approve except
Moved by
number
the
11.
Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any discussion? Hearing none. Any from the public? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. That's 13. Oh, were you, somebody here, Juan Pinzon? Juan Pinzon. I don't see him. Okay. All right. Item 15. Did you wish to be heard on item 13? Yes. Okay. Can I have a motion to
Motion for reconsideration?
reconsideration of item 13?
Motion for consideration.
Motion's
13.
made. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any discussion? Any from the public? Hearing none. All those in favor of reconsideration say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Shows passes unanimously. City Attorney, item 13.
For the record, Mr. Mayor and Commission, item 13, which is 25-1903, is a motion to approve the Shops at Pembroke Gardens residential site plan for height and development within a planned district as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Board, generally located south of Pines Boulevard and west of Southwest 145th Avenue. This arises from the Planning and Zoning Board with the appropriate recommendation from the P&Z Board. All the backup and materials that were in the backup before them are now legally before you for consideration. Thank you.
This item is quasi-judicial. Does anyone have any disclosures to make? I spoke with the representative briefly about this item. Has anyone else spoken to him?
I spoke with Mr. Dickerson on the item.
Anyone else?
As did I.
Anyone else?
The applicant's counsel, I spoke to him.
Okay, anyone else? Briefly. Okay, all 5 of us spoke briefly to him. Okay. Mr. City Attorney, does anybody testifying have to be sworn in?
The answer is that if it has been pulled from the consent agenda and the applicant has a right to present, staff has an obligation to present, and everyone who's going to present must be sworn.
Will everyone who's going to present,
Including
please
counsel.
be sworn?
Any
Including
member that-
anyone who might want to testify in favor or against? Seeing, you
So
need to raise your right
as
hand.
well.
Please raise your right hand.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes is a good answer. Thank you very much.
I'm hearing all say yes. Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. Pinzon, can I have your name and your address for the record, please? I
Keep
need
the
you to
mic on,
turn
sir.
on the mic. There's a button there.
We need a bigger button. It's so hard to see it.
Oh, there it is.
Juan Pinzon, 1042 Southwest 143rd Avenue.
Mr. Pinzon, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. For everyone here, for the commission, and everyone that was involved in this project approval, I just want to make it for the record to please keep the developer, to keep them accountable for any things that they have to do to make sure that the traffic doesn't get worse at the time of completion of the project, as they have stated on their documents. So just make sure that you follow up, make sure that that's taken care of at the time.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Appreciate that.
Thank you
Thank
very,
you.
very much. Does anyone wish to be heard on this item? You wish to, you're good? Okay. All those in, let's take 2 seconds for Commissioner Good. Hold on. We'll recess for 2 seconds. We are back on. Item 13, ready to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show passes unanimously. Thank you very, very much. Item 14, Ms. City Attorney. Oh, excuse me. Item 18.
18, correct, Mayor.
Item 18, Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Item 18 is the following item for the record. It's discussion and possible action regarding the status of certain pending litigation in the cases of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida versus the City of Hollywood, Florida. Broward County Circuit Court cases number 01-014030, 18-002017, and 18-015330, and appellate court case numbers 4D23-2252, 4D24-1064, 4D24-0715, and 4D25-1891 in the 4th District Court of Appeal in West Palm Beach, Florida. Mayor and Commission, this Mayor and Commission met at 4 o'clock this afternoon in a properly noticed both public and private meeting to discuss settlement opportunities and settlement costs and expenses in connection with these litigation matters. The results of that shade meeting was, although votes cannot be legally taken in a shade meeting, was the development of a settlement agreement, which is before the City Commission this evening. It is in the hands of the City Clerk. The settlement document is between the City of Pembroke Pines and the City of Hollywood, Florida. Special counsel for the city, Cindy Laquadera and Paige Cham, are both here in the audience. They hail from Jacksonville, the Ackerman offices in that location. There were special assistants to the city with regard to this matter, which has been pending in the city for a number of years. The settlement agreement reflects the negotiated resolution of the controversy between both cities. It reflects a cash payment to the City of Pembroke Pines as set forth in the agreement of $8.5 million, certain adjustments to the large user agreement relating to the City of Pembroke Pines and Hollywood. It also relates to the delivery of certain releases and other legal documents, which includes, for the record, dismissal of all the pending appeals, dismissal of any pending litigation in the circuit court, and the end date of any litigation between the parties. It also includes the amendment by addendum of the current large user agreement that goes back to 1990, that expressly sets forth the allocation of expenses by percentages that have been agreed to and recommended by special counsel and by the city administration. For the purpose of the record, the city attorney's office, the city manager, and certainly special counsel recommend this agreement. If this evening the mayor and commission approves the settlement document, it will in fact end all litigation between the cities on this specific matter. It will enable the city manager to sign the settlement document and for legal counsel to sign all appropriate dismissals, vacations of orders, judgments, and related activities, and will essentially allow the matter to be closed in connection with the large user situation. Ms. Laquadera is in the audience to answer any questions you may have, or myself or Mr. Horowitz, who are present. We also would recommend that you consider it, and for the record, the City of Hollywood, Florida considered the matter on their agenda today and approved the same settlement document.
So moved.
This is moved by Commissioner Schwartz. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any discussion? Any from the public? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show passes unanimously. Thank you very much, all.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Commission.
Item 14.
Okay, Mayor, give me a sec. Number 14 is a resolution. It's a motion to adopt proposed resolution number 2025-R-35, which is a proposed resolution number 2025-R-34, which is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, approving the memorandum of agreement, that's an MOA, between the city and the State of Florida Department of Transportation, the FDOT, for the widening of Pembroke Road project, authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement, providing for conflict severability, and providing for an effective date. Item 14 on the floor. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to defer for another 30 days, Mr. Mayor.
There's a motion to defer for 30 days. Mr. Stamp? Is FDOT here? Any problem with the deferral for 30 days?
Ma'am,
You need to
please
come
come
forward.
forward to the mic if you both will, all three of you, please, just for the record. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption, Mayor.
There's a button there to press. Thank you. Your name and title for the record, please.
Christina Brown. I am the Deputy Right-of-Way Manager for FDOT.
Welcome.
Hello.
The motion before us is a deferral for 30 days. I believe there wasn't enough time for you all to meet with the HOA in order to work out your,
No, we did meet with the HOA.
oh, you did meet?
We did. We provided them our title documents, and I don't think that they've been able to go through it, I guess, at this time. I just want to let you know, we are moving forward with the project, even without this signed right now, but the delay can cause a delay in the project overall. Right now, this project is currently fully funded. Our department is, if we're putting anything on hold, they're moving funds to other projects where we are moving forward on projects. So I just want you guys to be aware of the risk that's associated with us continuing to delay this. This MOA doesn't really have to do with the acquisition from the, it's Levitt Homes to our records. It really has to do with us being able to acquire property on your behalf when we turn the property back over. It's also for the vacation of the easement or the platted easement that you guys have for recreational purposes at Cinnamon Park, or Cinnamon Place Park, sorry. if I said that
Okay,
wrong.
in light of the discussion that you've had, and because the district commissioner has asked for deferral, I'm going to entertain a second and a vote. However, because time is of the essence, and because the state of Florida has put us on notice, this will be the last deferral.
Okay.
After this, we're going to have to vote on the item. Is that fair? We're all good?
Mayor, before you ask for the second, I'd like to have a discussion item.
Okay?
Okay. I just want to read into the record email from City Engineer Carl Kennedy. We were all copied on this at 12:19 this afternoon. I'll read it in its entirety. The City Commission is blind copied on this email. Mayor and Commissioners, please see the latest correspondence from FDOT to Honeywoods in meeting minutes where FDOT, their consultant, and I met with the HOA and their attorney on September 3rd. The main concern is the ownership of the property and the purchase by FDOT at fair market value. FDOT's legal department still denies the HOA has fee simple ownership of the land. We received no update by the HOA's attorney on getting fee simple ownership in their name. Other items discussed include, number one, Mr. Card indicated that the HOA would not maintain the backside of the wall at the current sound wall location at the back of the sidewalk. Number two, it is acknowledged that based on the previous coordination, the HOA would prefer the wall be located along the back of the homes in place or adjacent to the existing privacy fence. The 8, quote, benefited receptors, end quote, homeowners who voted on installation of the noise wall, however, have only been aware that the wall is at the back of the sidewalk. The HOA indicated that they would notify and coordinate with the affected homeowners about the HOA's desire to move the wall. FDOT cannot acquire right-of-way beyond what is needed for the project. Locating the wall here would require a donation of the additional property necessary to construct the wall in the HOA preferred location. 3, the HOA expressed continued concern with traffic queuing at Douglas Road and the potential for cut-through traffic utilizing Southwest 15th Street to access Douglas Road. It was explained that the traffic analysis did not show queuing extending beyond 87th Avenue. The traffic analysis did account for development near Douglas Road based on property zoning information. The design has been modified to allow vehicles to bypass the through lane queue via continuous right lane turn lane. In instances of excessive traffic, helping to mitigate the potential for cut-through traffic. I have stated that this becomes an issue. The city is willing to work with the HOA to install traffic calming devices on Southwest 15th. We received a revised memorandum of agreement from FDOT. The only revision is to the graphic at the end of the agreement. The revision added an approximate 10-foot perpetual maintenance easement behind the sound wall. The substance of the MOA has not changed and only speaks to the property adjacent to Cinnamon Place Park. FDOT's explanation is as follows, quote, I spoke with our legal department regarding this today. I will speak to this at the commission meeting, but the department will require a perpetual maintenance easement behind the wall. A few reasons for this. Number one, There was no city ordinance that requires an abutting property owner to maintain city-owned sound wall, where this has not been provided to the department to date. 2, the HOA is not the property owner, which furthermore does not allow the city to require this of them, even with an ordinance in place. 3, the HOA has made it clear both verbally and in writing that they will not be responsible for the maintenance of the backside of the sound wall. Please let me know if you have any other questions. Thanks, Carl Kennedy.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Is there anything in that email, FDOT, that is not factual, untrue, or needs to be corrected for the record?
No, that was the meeting that occurred with the HOA.
Okay. Mayor, the question I had, because I thought about the timeline that FDOT had presented, I thought about the testimony that came from the HOA at the last deferral. This process has been going on for 4 years. My question is, if this is a fee simple investigative request of land, why is it that the timing of this is happening now and it hasn't been brought to light in this period of time over the last 3 or 4 years?
I have to tell you that I really think that's a fair question. I thank you for asking it. That question needs to be answered between the parties. The item before us has nothing to do with this HOA. The item before us has to do with city right-of-way. However, Commissioner Good, who is the district commissioner, has convinced us that they're linked. And so I am not going to debate that. He's the district commissioner. He says that they're linked. He's asked for a deferral. I haven't asked for a second yet. We haven't voted on it. But if we approve a deferral, because the state of Florida has placed us on notice that this project is at risk if it goes beyond the next 30 days, that will be the last deferral that we can have on this.
Mayor, from a technical
So
point.
they have 30 days when the meeting is. I'm assuming, Commissioner, you meant the second meeting in October.
No, we only have one meeting, Mayor, and it will have to be
So it'll
deferred
be
to the
the first
15th of
meeting in
October.
November.
But if you give me an opportunity, I
Okay,
need
all
to
right.
respond back. to
But
what you're saying.
whenever it is that's the date, you have from now till then to sit down and square away your concerns. This is a project that affects 171,000 people in Pembroke Pines, about 150,000 in Miramar, and how many hundreds of thousands that pass through our city to do business or to recreate or do whatever it is that they do in Pembroke Pines. So this is it. This is the last deferral.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
So before you take a second, if you give me an opportunity.
Please do.
To see if I can convince you and my colleagues. The first thing I want to make it very clear, I am your representative on the NPO. I do make the vote for the TIP, which is their work plan every year. I can tell you that this project is not funded for construction for another 2 years. What's being funded for this year and next year is land acquisition only. It's very important to keep in mind. But, Mr. Mayor, I recognize where you're going and saying there's got to be a point that we have to make that decision, and I don't disagree with that. But I ask that before we commit to a 30-day, if we give an opportunity for the community's representative who is working on resolving this land issue, because this community has worked with DOT from the very beginning. The moment they came out and did their first public hearing, they identified issues, and they've been honestly working with them. And then this land issue all of a sudden came up, and it is a challenge to the whole process. And all it is that we're looking to do is just get through the process. And all we're looking to do is just support our community. And I thank you, Mr. Mayor, for recognizing the community need for support. So, but if the representative for the community can speak to how long it would take them to determine if this land can actually be deeded over to the HOA, because I understand it's a little bit of a hiccup. I deal with a lot of land issues, and I do understand very clearly this community has been taking care of that property ever since it's been in existence. And so there's no question about really, should be no questions about who owns the land. It's just that there's a title issue. And if the representative can speak to how long
you
it
come
would take
forward,
that
please?
title issue, it would be really helpful. And then we can make a determination on the time limit and then close it out from there, sir.
Please
Mr.
identify
Mayor,
yourself for the
hello.
record.
I'm Stephen Straley from Straley Auto, representing Honeywoods Homeowners Association. We appreciate you giving us the opportunity to speak here and clarify what's going on. So for 4 years, we have been working with DOT and trying to work our way through the different issues there. There are some issues. And just in July, they suddenly said, oh, you don't own the property. And why don't we own the property? Well, and they have their title reports. So we've gone out and gotten our title report now, and I write for First American Title, which is the biggest underwriter in the country. They came back and said Honeywoods does own the property. Well, how do we own the property? We own the property because the plat clarifies, just like about every other plat does, that when the developer completes, they're supposed to deed the common areas to the association. Well, Levitt Homes never did that. We weren't the attorneys way back when this was formed, and so we found out that Levitt Homes doesn't do that. But the plat clearly states that the common areas are dedicated to us. When the developer leaves, it's supposed to be deeded to us, and it's a very common thing. So we have that. If we look at our governing documents, they say exactly the same thing. So we have taken that to DOT's attorneys, and they've come back with a hard and fast no. That is, you don't have a deed, you don't own it. But we do own it. It's clearly equitable ownership. If you would talk to title people, they know that. So it's going to force us to file a quiet title. My partner is in the process of filing that right now. We're also trying to
I was just
down,
about to say, are you going to file?
Yeah, we're filing it right now, and we're trying to track down the ownership from Levitt Homes, which has gone out of business, and I think that Bank Atlantic was involved, so it's gone through a whole chain, and we're trying to get to somebody that could give us a deed legally that would be an effective deed as opposed to the quiet title action. But we're doing both at the same time. And we would like to engage more with the city. We've tried to make decisions between whether to put the wall where our property line is now or move the wall up. The big concern here is there's going to be a 10-foot gap. So that just invites crime and people to walk in off of Pembroke Road into our property. So we're trying to come up with an idea that we want to propose to DOT on how to resolve that. So I know we only have 30 days or so, and I'm just hoping that you will ask them to engage with us fairly and immediately and continue to talk this out and try to get it resolved.
FDOT is very reasonable people, and if you, Counselor, will use your time expeditiously, 30 days should be more than enough to make your filing and to make your argument to FDOT and figure this thing out. As Mr. Card knows, I also reached out personally through my office to try and schedule a Zoom with them so that if there was anything that I could do as mayor, that I wanted to try to do it. If I had to convene people in order to assist, unfortunately, that meeting could not be scheduled. If you still want it, I'm available to assist. Our city attorney, within the limits of his obligations, will be more than happy. We want you all to be happy, but this thing has to happen. So let's figure out a way to make soup with this. FDOT needs to cooperate. They want to cooperate. They want to build us a road that the size of our city demands. So let's sit down and figure this thing out. We can't drag it out forever, all right? Because there's money on the table. And I understand what the vice mayor is saying. Vice mayor, you'll always be the vice mayor to me. What Commissioner Good, what Commissioner, you too. What Commissioner Good is saying, but the state of Florida just told us that this project is at risk if it goes more beyond 30 days. I need you all to apply some urgency to this and get it done. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
And, Mr. Mayor, I just want to make clear, 30 days is enough, right? Are you saying 30 days is what it would take for you to have your quiet title?
I don't think you can complete a quiet title in 30 days.
What does it take, though?
It's probably a 90-day thing, but we're going to try to trace the title and get a deed from somebody else. Or even better, it'd be nice if DOT would recognize our ownership. It's pretty clear and pretty obvious. So we're going to work on all those things with them. I'm not sure why they suddenly, after 4 years, said, oh, you don't own the property. I have some ideas, but I don't want to get into that now.
So I'd like to propose to my colleagues that instead of a 30 days, it'd be a 90-day, but after 90 days, that's it, there's no more deferral.
Vice Mayor?
Mhm.
You responded. He's Vice Mayor. He loves it. He loves it. Okay, so back in August, it was a very, it was the appropriate thing to do, to bring it to this meeting, bar none, okay? But sometimes you play what happened in the meeting in your head, and so I thought about some things. Your attorney's here now. May I ask your attorney a question?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's why he's here.
This title search, you indicated on the record that you've filed for it. What date did you file for that?
We're filing it now. My partner's not here, but he's put the complaint together. It's
Okay,
it's
so
being
it
filed.
hasn't been filed. Okay.
I don't believe he filed it today,
Okay,
but I mean, we're
so-
literally at
He
that
actually
point.
He explained to us, he actually started
Okay.
with some of that the day after this meeting. Unlike 3 months that went by
That's-
with no
We've been in daily discussions with First American to try to identify the defendants. That's the problem. This is a chain of like 20 entities after Levitt Home and that, and also trying to talk to DOT about the situation. So
Okay.
I will certainly expedite it when I get back.
All right, so for the record, your firm began the process the day after we deferred. We are now 30 days since then, approximately 30 days since then. And you believe it will take an additional 90 days, or it typically takes 90 days?
It typically takes a good, 90 days, we'll say, for a quiet title action.
Okay, and you've already spent 30 days of the 90 already, based on the testimony I just heard. So that means that there's 60 days left.
Once you commence it, it takes 90 days. There's a lot of background and research that has to go into a quiet title. And that's
So-
what we've been doing, and we're ready to go now.
So if I'm hearing you now, once the application is filed, then 90 days starts.
Yeah.
Am I hearing
We
that
can say
now?
90 days from now if you would like, yeah.
Okay,
But yes, once we file the lawsuit, and the lawsuit is prepared and it's ready to be filed.
okay, so as litigation filed is 90 days. So the last 30 days.
I just heard him say he's okay with 90 days from today. Just heard him say that, correct?
Yes, sir. That's what we're going to go with.
Okay, so DOT, I need to ask them a question.
DOT, please.
Excuse me.
I mean, we can do the 90 days. We're gonna keep moving forward with the project as much as we can, but I mean, that is going to be pushing the line, because once we get past a certain point and we
I
can't move
understand.
forward, that's when it becomes an issue.
I understand,
Okay.
and it will go no further than that.
Mayor, can we look at our meeting calendar?
Yes,
know we have a
thank
combined
you
meeting
for
in
that. I was
October.
about to ask the same thing.
November and December have always also been combined. Sometimes we have two
Can
in
we,
November.
can we get a,
We need a
a
date.
date? What is the, what are we looking at? December? Is that it?
Well, we haven't, I don't believe the commission has
Well, hold on, let's-
opined on whether or not we're going to
What is,
combine
what is
December.
the closest scheduled commission date to 90 days?
No, I'm the.
December 3rd.
December 3rd.
First meeting,
It has to be then. Mayor,
and the
because typically
second
we may
meeting
not
in
have a second meeting in
December is on the 17th.
Okay, so it's the 3rd and the 17th.
And traditionally, when we get that late into the Christmas season, we usually push it up. So
Yeah, I think the 17th will work. Commissioner, good, 17th?
So December 17th then.
This is a motion to defer.
Sorry, I didn't get to speak on.
Oh, no, I just wanted to clarify the motion. So this is a motion to defer time certain on the 17th without further deferral, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Is there a second?
But I didn't
Okay,
get
I-
to, I
I'm
didn't get
gonna-
to talk
I'm- okay.
before. I understand, and I want to support, especially the district commissioner and you guys. I guess my question and my curiosity is, what does it mean if we move forward for you all? Because my understanding, and this is particularly to our location in Pembroke Pines in our park, it does not impact directly the HOA. So I want to understand the correlation as to if we move forward, what does it impede on your action, on the HOA's action? Because it's a lot of money on the table, and I don't want to put any kind of risk in losing this money. While I really want to support you, from my reading and my understanding from this, it doesn't necessarily impede on what you're able to do to talk to your HOA.
Counselor?
I believe it does because it asks you, I think, to give up certain rights that we think we may acquire as a result of our quiet title.
Resolution.
Which is what they've been
You're
working
giving
for
rights
since
and
the
land and
beginning.
rights
Everything
to-
just dropped.
To DOT.
And if I
So
may-
what
That might revert
portion
back
then
to us.
goes back to you if we give this up? What?
In front of the park.
But that's not yours, that's the
not
city's.
yours.
Correct.
My understanding through legal is if we are deemed the property owners of that land, that it goes back to us if you vacate that. That's what, I'm not the lawyer. So-
Miss City Attorney,
Yes.
I believe that it's very clearly on the record that the right-of-way that FDOT seeks under this item, not under a future item that involves in front of the HOA.
Yes, sir.
That land is deeded and owned by the city of Pembroke Pines. Is that correct?
Let me respond, Mayor. The land that's referred to in the MOA is land that was dedicated by plat by the then developer to the city of Pembroke.
The developer dedicated it to the city.
Yes.
So there's nothing in your lawsuit that would infringe on the city's ownership. Is that correct, Counselor?
It's my partner's lawsuit, so I can't give you the exact answer. on
I'm
that.
also confused
Sam?
if the landowner or the developer was able to deed it to us and there's record of that, why is there not record of it being deeded to the HOA? If
We
they
don't know.
Mr. Mayor, if I can.
Yes.
I'm not speaking for my colleague and friend, Mr. Straley, but at the end of the day, what a quiet title action does is it asks a court to actually make a decision to basically fix what's wrong with the title. And that's apparently what they're trying to accomplish by this petition and the time element to do so.
So is there an opportunity for when that happens for whatever portion that they're talking about to be taken from our land? Because I believe we're deeded this particular
Let me be
piece.
clear. This is discussed, if I can, Mr. Mayor, to the Commissioner. The city derives its ownership or its title, not by deed, not by a fee simple deed, not by a warranty deed, but by a plat. It's under state statute. There's a plat dedication statute in Florida, which is referred to by the DOT and also by my colleague, Mr. Straley, which dedicated that property to the city via the plat. And that's how the city derived its ownership through the plat process. It's a form of ownership. So that stands independently of anything. That is how it works. But if it's connected, I defer to the mayor and commission as to how you would seek to treat the relationship between the parties and how they may be interrelated in the future based upon what they're trying to accomplish with regard to their quiet title case.
So is there any possibility of when you go through the process and on your deed that any portion of ours would be given to the HOA?
Mr. Gorin?
I would not support limiting what the city owns or controls by virtue of their litigation, because we're not a party to the litigation, but whatever the city owns, they own because the plat dedicated it to the city.
But that's my point.
Yeah,
So whatever the city owns is dedicated via the plat. Therefore, whatever they are saying that they can do, there's no way that they can be given anything of the city's. So then, therefore, it wouldn't impede as to if we go through with this, because they could never take what the city owns in this plat.
That's legally correct. Absent some court's decision to do otherwise.
So a court can go kind of rogue and say, actually, it also belongs to the HOA?
Well, only if the city's a named party and we would respond in court. That's not what's being proposed, although I hope it's not.
Well, I hope it's not either, so those are my questions. That's my curiosity. I don't understand the correlation if that's what is legally correct.
Commissioner, I had the same question the last time the item came up. The district commissioner believes that the two are connected sufficiently that he asked for a deferral. He's asking for another one now until time certain, with no further deferrals until before, or on or before, and if you're ready to come before, please let us know, December 17th.
Mayor,
So
I would-
we need to move along, so I'm going to ask for a second. Is there a second to the motion?
Mayor, before you ask, I want to ask the district commissioner to consider additional language in the deferral.
Go right ahead.
Commissioner Good, would you consider requiring the HOA's attorney to provide all legal filings so we can follow the timeline of events? I don't want to wait until December 17th to find out that something got filed on December 15th. I want to make sure that we can follow the courts so that we can have a timeline. There may be a possibility that this petition is expedited and it's heard by Halloween, and then we're good to go and have this item,
Mr. City Attorney,
item in November.
is the request by Commissioner Schwartz in order?
To the extent that, if I may respond, Mayor, I'm confident that council would, if asked, produce whatever documents were filed on behalf of the HOA and what may impact the city in any way, shape, or form. And we would, as your lawyers, look at those documents and promptly respond back to the mayor and commission and administration.
As a condition of the deferral. As a condition of the deferral.
Councilor, do you have any objection to that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
And I will state that we will make every effort to move this along as expeditiously as possible, not just the quiet title, but the resolution with DOT as well. So,
Commissioner, do you accept that?
I accept that. Yes.
Okay, so with that friendly amendment accepted, is there a second to the motion to deferral?
I'll second it.
Seconded by the vice mayor. There'll be no further debate. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Show passes 4-1, and good luck. Let's wrap this up. We have a road to build. Thank you. Okay.
December 17th. Whatever December 17th.
Yes, it's in the motion,
Would I
Commissioner.
contact
Thank you.
Mr. Gorin to see who I send all this to? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
very,
it.
very much. Okay,
Take care, Steve.
so that's 14,
Yes, sir, Mayor.
15.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Number 15 for the record is a motion to adopt a proposed resolution number 2025 R41, which is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, expressing support for the displaced left intersection improvement concept at the Pines Boulevard and Flamingo Road intersection, which is replacing the center turn overpass concept previously presented, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. Item number 15 on the floor, the motion to approve.
Mr. Stam, you're prepared to offer a presentation? Let's put the item on the floor. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Good. Is there a second?
I will second.
Seconded by the vice mayor. Okay. Show us.
Show us how it's done.
Deborah, can you open the second attachment, please? Mike Stam, Assistant City Manager and Director of Planning and Economic Development. Mayor, Commissioners, you placed some demands, I think that's the safest way to say this, on the MPO as well as FDOT, that you were concerned with the impact that the center turn overpass would have on the business community. You were concerned about the cost. You were concerned about the timeline and the impact that it could have on our senior residents, as well as the character of the community. Senior residents going to Memorial Hospital specifically. FDOT came back with what's called a DLT. And I'm going to scroll down through here real quick. Deborah, can you scroll down for me? So this is a displaced left turn. We obviously know the intersection, Flamingo and Pines. Park and ride lots on the top northwest corner, Flamingo Pines Shopping Center in the southwest corner, Pembroke Crossing. Don't worry, we stopped naming things with Pembroke and Pines after these. And then the Memorial Cancer Institute on the northeast corner. Scroll down for me, Deborah. So this is what a displaced left turn looks like. Essentially what happens is that the left turns happen away from the main intersection, which allows traffic to move east and west, as well as our turns simultaneously. They've implemented these DLTs in various configurations throughout the state. One of the other items that you mentioned, I think it was, we don't want to be a guinea pig. I think it was with a new concept that hasn't been tested and tried and trued. This concept has been applied over on the west coast of Florida. A version of this concept has been applied at, it's called the diverting diamond intersection on Glades and 95. And essentially, it displaces the left turns to allow traffic to move freely east and west. If you can picture this, if you look at the image that's on the screen, you can see where the two traffic lights are. Those are new traffic lights that would stop traffic and allow the traffic to cross either the east or the westbound lanes to get in another position to make the left turn to go north or south. This is a safer movement. Based on our conversation with the DOT, this would get us almost to the same level of service that the CTO was proposing. Mayor, I'm happy to say that the proposed cost is half the cost. So not only do we not disrupt the commercial spaces, the proposed cost is reduced by about 20 million, and it almost gets us to the same level of service. And again, we're not a guinea pig. This has been implemented in other places in the state. It's used widely in other states. And right now, this proposal will allow us to take the next steps forward with this project and keep it on the plan. I think that's probably the more briefest way I can go forward.
Thank you. I'll start the discussion. As you know, I was vehemently opposed to overpasses in the city. I think that it changes the entire character of the community. Overpasses are not in the character of the city of Pembroke Pines. They separate communities. They, over time, degrade them. I'd rather live with the traffic than have an overpass. This is a solution that I think can work better for us. It is an at-grade solution. It is thoughtfully put together. It has been successful elsewhere. Nothing is perfect. However, this is about as good as it gets. And I'm going to support it. I think that this was very well put together. I don't know that there are many other options to move the traffic. For people heading to the hospital from the western part of the city, they will have their own turn signal and a much longer, apart from traffic, queuing line to that ability to make the turn. It allows express to go through without having any difficulty. It allows people to get out of the way so that north, south, and east-west traffic can move, even as turning traffic has more of an opportunity to queue up and make the turns. I think that this is the right answer for our community, and it doesn't hurt the character, and it will improve the functionability of the intersection. You showed it to me quite some time ago. I was impressed with it then. There are, I believe, YouTubes on this thing that show how it is that it works in actual, actual turns like this. I was impressed with the way traffic behaved under this configuration. I think that this is an answer for Pembroke Pines, and I'm going to support it.
Mayor, Mr. Stam, the curb cuts going into the shopping centers. Any modifications, will they be needed?
Based on the current preliminary design, we don't see any impacts to curb cuts to existing shopping centers. We have asked, and I've talked to some of you about this project. I think I've talked to everybody about this project in some way, shape, or form. We've asked, obviously, pedestrian and bicyclist traffic being considered. You all know that we're working on the Flamingo Road Greenway, which is under construction. They're installing landscape right now, so we've asked that that be considered as part of this project. And your specific question in terms of impacts to other intersections, we've asked that question, and so far, it works within the geometry of the intersection. The only thing that it may impact is the park and ride facility in C.B. Smith Park, slightly.
So, not that none of us have ever done it, but sometimes you get in the wrong lane. So how do you get out, of this loop if you wind up in the wrong one in order
So,
to
let's just
reset the
say
direction you wanted to go in?
if
Let's say, in this example, you're going from 129th.
You're heading over from the fire station, and
Eastbound, yeah.
you stop at the light and you get in the left lane and you end up going north.
Yeah,
So, like a typical Floridian, you would probably cut through the mall and get back on 118th and come back heading the other direction. That what a typical Floridian would do. But you could make a U-turn at the next intersection. There's a bunch of different scenarios.
They could use some, I'm sorry, Commissioner, they could use some temporary plastic bollards as well, until people get used to it. It does take a little bit getting used to, but there are ways to help corral people into the right lane.
Yeah, I was going to say signage. Signage is critically important. What I don't want to see is what we have at Pines and 186, which is someone getting crushed, 300 days out of the year. There's something going on with that U-turn.
So,
right?
Commissioner, at 186, what we did when we approved the new townhome community, we actually moved the intersection eastbound to keep people from being able to go the wrong way in traffic. Do we get a random person that does it the wrong way? I can't say it doesn't happen. I've had conversations with the vice mayor about it, that specific movement directly. In this situation, you also have a traffic light, which helps with this process. You have a traffic light, so if the commission's familiar with it, there's a gas station and a McDonald's,
Right.
approximately where the light is between those two, on Flamingo and Pines. So this light will be there. There's an egress there, so it won't impact that egress, but we'll have to channelize that intersection so that they can only head eastbound, and they don't make that movement.
Okay.
But again, I personally believe that this addresses all of the concerns that the commission laid out during the discussion on the center turn overpass.
They've done a wonderful job with the capital improvement. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. So how, I should have asked you earlier, forgive me. The I-75 project, right, the I-75, the park and ride and how that's gonna get tied in. Because what I don't want us to be is the Palmetto, where they've never ended a construction project. I've been here 36 years. The Palmetto has never not had a cone in a lane
Keep
somewhere.
yourself improving like the
right,
Palmetto
right.
improves.
There's a sign that says, progress with us, right? Well, at some point, you have to say, okay, we've done that. So where are we with this project? Can it be tied into what FDOT has with the major intersection?
So, I mean, Carl go into it, but the Pine 75 project was pushed out. It's still in design. It was pushed out. This project puts this back into the tip, right?
Well, it was 2030 to begin with, right?
The Pine 75 was 2034 design, if I remember correctly.
2034.
Actually,
Sorry.
it's supposed to be designed by 28, and
Right.
construction was 32.
Correct, it was 2832, and now this is proposed at 32, but
When is this proposed?
this goes back to Pembroke Road, Mayor, where we were waiting for this this exchange to be done so we could have some blister relief. And now they pushed that out?
They didn't push Pembroke Road out.
No, I'm talking about the Pines.
We just
75.
did, but
No, so they pushed out the Pines 75 interchange improvements by about a year or two.
All right, and
Construction.
thank you, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Stam, and all those involved to make this thing the right project for us. Conceptual, people want stuff done. So if there's anything we can do, I see our legislative team in the room. If there's anything we can do to get FDOT's attention that Southwest Broward does not have public transportation because Broward County doesn't want to give us buses. They want to do everything north of 595. but nothing on the south end. And that basically puts us in gridlock with cars. And this is a major corridor, and we're landlocked.
Well, if they'll sign a lap agreement, I'm sure Mr. Dodge and Mr. Gajewski and Mr. Kennedy would be happy to take it on. We can get it done quick.
I'd love to see us actually get stuff done.
Why don't we offer that to them?
So-
If it goes the way I hope it does, not only do we are we excited about your project, let us build it for you and pay us back.
Yeah.
So, Mayor, if I may, this is important, that this support allows them to take the next steps. With these projects, there's PD&E, there's study, there's public outreach, there's community meetings. So this is the first step in allowing them to take the next step to keep moving forward with these projects. These projects are funded in future years. They get prioritized at various moments. I know Commissioner Good could talk about how the MPO does these things at their meetings, but this allows us to take the next step to keep this in the work plan and to keep moving forward so that we can do the next level of study, including public outreach, to talk to some of the committee. I know Commissioner Rodriguez and I had a conversation about this. There's groups that are interested in the bike and ped and how it impacts this. There's groups that, the business community, they're all going to be part of the conversation as we move forward with this project, should the commission pass this resolution to take the next steps.
The moment Pembroke Road gets completed to 27, this north-southbound Flamingo thing is going to be a problem, because we now have the ability to put even more cars northbound on Flamingo Road. Go out there at 5:15 in the afternoon, okay? It's faster to walk than it is to drive. So I'd like to see this done, and if there's anything we can do at the state level, I would really appreciate it. And of course, a lap agreement would be fantastic. I don't know why they got rid of that program for us, but, who knows? Maybe we'll bring that back.
Commissioner Rodriguez.
I have a lot of comments, but I'll keep it short because I was kind of hoping that representatives from this project would be here. I think a big part of what Mr. Stam and I talked about was the community outreach and the comments that will come later. We have to do a really good job on our end, and I'll say it always, the communication, not only from the city from the city's pages, but from us as well, to make sure that people understand what's going on this project. Ideally, we have buses, we have mass transit, we have all these other options, and to decrease the amount of cars that we're using on the day-to-day basis. Because this, to me, seems very car-centric. That's the world we live in, and ideally we would be moving in another direction. I think one thing that I want to point out to keep in mind, this is already being planned for 32. We are looking, and it's going to be impacting, and it's going to be millions and millions of dollars impacting our communities for 20, 30 years. It's right next to our mall, which in the future, my assumption and hopefully a goal at some point is to have some mixed use developments within that mall. Something like what we have in Pembroke Gardens, where we have obviously an affordability crisis. We can build homes and we can keep that traffic in there because everything you would need would be in that mall. That's, a pipe dream down the line, but we have to make sure that when we're supporting projects like these, we're building for the future and keeping that in mind. And our comments have to reflect that when we are asked of them, keeping in mind that hopefully we have a lot more safety, safeguards for pedestrians and for cyclists, because it's very preliminary. We don't really see all that much in here, but we have to make sure that that is a priority for us, because we're moving into the future rather quickly, and I think a lot more people are taking those e-scooters, the e-bikes, all of that, in which it makes it more accessible for us to take alternative forms of transportation other than our own vehicles. So with that said, I know we're going to have an opportunity to comment on this, but for all of us to keep that in mind, that this is a very car-centric way of looking at this, and we need to think a little bit broader and include the components that maybe are not here right now, but that they will be coming in the near future.
I think that's well taken, and I think there'll be ample time to insert those fine strokes in the canvas as the planning proceeds. And I think that that's absolutely something that can be addressed as we go along. Right now, all they're asking for is put it on the radar. Tell us that you like the hat, and I like it. And it begins to put them to work. Vice Mayor?
I remember this vote. I'm in favor of this concept. There is a diamond concept in, I believe it's off of 27th Avenue, Northwest 27th Avenue and Northwest 7th. Because I work in Dade very often, not every day, but when I do, I have to go through that corridor. So at first, there were folks worried that it would be chaotic, but with, to Commissioner Rodriguez's point, with education, that comes mostly from FDOT, but also from all of us, especially to Century Village residents that are just inside of, on the south side of where this would be impacting residents. So I know we're a ways off. I just want to confirm, FDOT dollars.
Well, this step allows us to take the next step to put this into the work plan and keep moving forward. To your last point, it's really important to note, what you're not seeing here on this plan is, let's say somebody did miss that left turn and had to get to the hospital. There's still another traffic light at 118th that goes into the mall that's all connected to the ring road.
That's right.
So
Right.
there's a lot of circulation that'll still be beneficial here. So I think we're in really good shape. This is going to speed traffic through, but in terms of the dollars, this allows us to continue to move forward and doesn't pull it off.
No, I completely get that. I'm asking, who's paying? Just to put that on the record.
Pines Boulevard is an FDOT road.
That,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that that's on
Well,
record.
we all pay at the end of the day, but
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm just saying not from Manager Dodge's budget. Okay, thank you.
Anything else on this item? Anything from the public? All those in favor of transmitting positively, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show passes unanimously.
For the record, Mayor and Commission, item number 15 is, for the permanent record, is number 3931, Reso
Good
3931.
job, Stam.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done, Carl. Mr. Kennedy. Regular agenda.
Mr. Mayor, for the record, number 16 is discussion and possible action to appoint 2 members to the Charter Academic Village Advisory Board for a 2-year term, which would expire on September 30, 2027. Item 16 on the floor, Mayor.
Mayor, I would recommend Porvin and Raza.
Who?
Olga Porvin, Timothy Raza.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? Any from the public? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show passes unanimously. Item 17.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Number 17 is discussion and possible action to direct the city administration to work with the Broward County Legislative Delegation and lobbyists in the upcoming 2026 legislative session for the fiscal year 26-27, legislative priorities and appropriation request. 17 on the floor for consideration and discussion. Thank you, Mayor.
Mr.
17.
Manager?
Yes, Mayor and Commission, there are 3 items that we have that we're proposing. One, of course, is to amend the Florida statutes to provide a legacy preference for alumni of the charter schools. We're attempting to do that again. Another is to address the removal by utility service providers of obsolete and out-of-service utility hardware and other infrastructure. We'll see sometimes when new poles come up, they leave the old ones there. So we're asking for that as well. And the third one is at the Howard Foreman Service Campus Road Improvements. Phase 1 is $2 million. We're requesting $800,000. 60% is the city match, and that's to resurface and widen roads, install multiple pedestrian bike paths along Poinciana Drive, and install sidewalks throughout the campus grounds.
I think that's a good package. Does anyone?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Yeah, we've talked about this on several occasions, and we've always said, yeah, we were going to do something about it. But I think now is the time to start addressing this whole concept about, you know, having our crossing guards funded by the state. Is there any reason why we can't add something of that nature to?
At your request, we can add anything to this item. So if you make a motion to incorporate that, we will include that as well.
Yeah, I think that's something that's really necessary. So, thank you, sir.
Anyone else?
Does everybody agree?
Yes, I agree. I wanted, and it's not a poignant thing, but we've talked at length about property taxes, and I know that you all are working with Broward League of Cities, and there's a whole coalition of people working on this, but I'd like to put it into actual words to make sure that we let our residents know that we are going to be fighting for local rule, home rule, because ultimately when if this plan goes through or it gets anything closer to a pipe dream of the governor's, it's really taking away our only funding source that is local here, and making sure that we're talking to our residents and they are advocating on our behalf over in Tallahassee is crucial, and I want to be able to put that in writing as well.
Yeah, and I know that that's part of the league agenda as well, and as members of the league, we will definitely be, supporting that, and the efforts of the league in that regard, and I agree. If I was to add anything, it should be that any Florida municipality should be able to have access to any election day that there's a countywide election. And we should not be limited to any particular one. We should be able to, that is endemic not only to solving problems, but to home rule as well. So I think that that's an easy fix. That's an easy fix. There should not be a variety of rules throughout Florida depending on who they happen to elect as supervisor of elections. I think that there should be a uniform system of elections, and if a state, and if a city feels the need to put something on a March or on on an August or on a November ballot, they should have that ability to do so. And the job of the supervisor of elections, though we have a good one and I respect him very, very much, is to work for us, not the other way around. And when we say that we need an election on a certain date, if he's holding the election that date, I don't see what the problem is with accommodating the request, especially since we're paying for it. And while we're at it, we shouldn't be paying for elections because elections should be funded through county tax dollars. That's why we pay county tax dollars. So why should we pay county tax dollars and then when an election comes, the city is charged a fee? What's that all about? Do they charge us when they do other county functions? Do we pay for the port or the airport or any of the other things that they do? Do we pay to fund their county parks, and yet we have to pay for elections? It makes no sense to me. Do we fund the sheriff's office? Do we fund the clerks of the courts? Why the hell should we have to pay for an election when we're county taxpayers and that's a county function? It makes no sense to me. So there's an awful lot that I think that we should be doing that would make it a little easier for cities to do business. And I think it's great that we have the opportunity to ask our people what they want us to do. And we should take more advantage of that because that's called democracy. But you put a bunch of obstacles in the way of people voting or having to pay extra to vote, or you can only vote on this date but not that date. What the hell is that all about? It makes no sense. There's no logical. It's purely arbitrary. We make it up as we go along because we can. It's a power play. And I think that the people in the legislature right now have a thirst for that kind of thing. I think they'd like that. So I would encourage, without objection, that we look into that. Let's ask a few folks up there. Hey, what's up with this? Are you as concerned about it as our cities are? And watch, somebody may want to file a bill.
Mayor, on that point, the cost for an election, should it change depending on what county you're in? If we have 67 counties using the same software, same, it's the same, the cost of pencils costs just as much anywhere you go. Why would it be more in Broward County? Why does paper cost more in Broward County? We just had an election. We paid $302,000 in March,
Hold on a second. Is that the correct number?
302.
Yes, about 300,000.
Okay.
302 is what we paid. The state needs to take a look at how much elections actually cost. I don't know how the city of Pembroke Pines could pay $302,000.
So 9,000 people could vote.
So there needs to be, the state needs to take a look at the cost of elections. As a matter of fact, when there's federal elections, we pay federal taxes. Where's that money? So here we are bearing the burden of a ballot access for federal officials for a federal election. And
Well, that's in the Constitution.
well, what I'm saying is that we got charged. You know, we get charged for the presidential primary. There's a different rate for that. You know, we move our election in even years to match up with that. And they say it saves us money, but if we're spending $302,000, how much money are we saving? So it's something that the state really needs to take a look at from a calculator standpoint.
I tell you what's interesting about what you just said is I don't believe the supervisor of elections anywhere in the state of Florida charge the state to run state elections. But they, or the county to run county elections. But they charge the cities.
They charge the city, which is interesting. I mean, there just doesn't. Again, I think if there was a, I'm sure they have a committee for it, but if they were to take a look at how much an election cost in Polk, Broward, Brevard, they're going to have different amounts depending on the people.
Not only different amounts, they'll have different formulas for how to calculate it.
And even a different machine.
Huh?
That in itself is an issue, but that's for them to figure out.
I think we're onto something here. So let's add that to the list. I'm sensing there's a consensus to add that. Fair enough. Ms. Eriks, did you have any suggestions that you wanted to add, or anything that you think we should further consider on this? And as you come up, let me just thank you and your staff. Every single time we go to Tallahassee, you're so helpful and always there for us, and I really want to thank you.
Let's push the button so we can hear.
There's a button there.
There's a button that says speak.
Speak.
We gotta get Mr. Keffer to have a
Does that work?
button. Really big one.
Now.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. We will look into all the comments. Lauren and Candace Eriks, Lauren Jackson with Eriks Consultants. We will look into our partners at the League of Cities and other cities as we just took down the elections conversation, and look into that and all the other comments that you've made tonight, and make sure as we move into Tallahassee, we've got 2 weeks in October, 2 weeks in November, 2 weeks in December, and then we go into an early session, January and February, and hopefully be out early, regular time. March 13th is our hope. But I think that we're going to have some of the similar challenges that we had last session with personalities in the different chambers. But we will keep you abreast of all of that. But we will get all the intel. And of course, I welcome, as we've had these conversations, your input, your presence, your information. I want to thank Jonathan very much and your staff. They are very amazing to get us quick information when we need them, whether it's, 11 o'clock at night or, 6 a.m. in the morning. That kind of return is quick and furious up in Tallahassee. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. On a personal note, there was a recent Court of Appeals decision that's raising some eyebrows. I don't want to get into it tonight on the record for obvious reasons, but I'll call you privately about it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We're here to answer any questions tonight. We want to talk to you. We're heading up to Tallahassee. We'll be up there a lot, but we'll be, obviously able to video back in. Lauren, do you have anything that you want to add?
Anything, commissioners? Thank you very much. You got everything you need, Counselor?
I do.
Yep, okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Next item.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you
Thank you.
for everything you do.
Appreciate you all.
See you soon. Okay, number 16, is it?
No, we're done.
We're good. Did 16 and 17.
17, 18?
18's done.
18 is done.
Yes, sir.
Anything further? Anything further?
From reports from the league.
Oh, yes, reports from the league. Go ahead.
So unfortunately, I wasn't here for the September 11th ceremony. I was down with the South Florida Regional Planning Council, which not only do I represent Pembroke Pines, but the League of Cities as well on that council. The theme of it was the business case for transit-oriented development with affordable and workforce housing. The link is online, and I'll send it to Mr. Josh to send to you all. You can hear the whole conference. There's a lot of different panel discussions, but I feel like it boiled down to really kind of what the title says. We really need our business community to come out and support affordable housing, workforce housing, and transit-oriented development, mostly because they are the ones impacted. If we are able to build this housing, we can have employers come here, have opportunities for their employees to work and live nearby the places that they work, or be able to transport. And it was a really interesting conversation, not just for here in Broward, but it was a regional dynamic with people and panelists from across the Tri-County area, as well as some really interesting perspective from the business community. So highly encourage you all to go in and listen to that. And then for the League of Cities, Denise Horland, president for the Broward League, held her first directors meeting, and she gave out a book, which I'll pass around if you guys are interested afterwards. Yes. It's really, really interesting, and it's her motto or her theme for this year is leading one Broward. So it's really on a leadership perspective and how we can all work together on that.
How wonderful. Thank you so much. MPO, any updates?
Two things. The first being, again, coming back to the surtax and the ability to use surtax dollars as a bond, as a pledge for bond revenue or a revenue bond. So there's a lot of concern about that, and one of the things that we had done as the MPO is we are inviting the oversight board, which seems to be the controlling element here about whether you can use that money for a revenue bond, as well as the executive director to the oversight board to give us clarity on can you use it or not. And so I think this next meeting, should they show up, should be a rather definitive answer to whether or not we can use those monies for leverage.
So as we peel, I'm glad that you brought this up, because I had this conversation also with Mr. Dodge and with the city attorney. So as we peel this, there are a couple of little tentacles. One of the things that you could do is use the surtax dollars as the source of debt service, even though they're not pledged under the bond. I think that what they're hung up on is using the surtax dollars as the pledged amount rather than the actual source of the debt service. So the city could use its full faith and credit to bond a series of projects, knowing that these surtax dollars will be available to offset those costs. Ms. City Attorney, did I kind of capture that the right way?
You actually did, Mayor.
So this is the conversation that we were having. And I know that they have been meeting with the county. Are they closer to giving us some guidance that will, because Commissioner Good asked a very specific, very direct, very relevant question about this, and we're going to have to deal with this issue very soon. So it's kind of time for us to have an answer on how we're going to proceed with this. Mr. Dodge, Mr. Gorin, can you give us some heads up on where we're at with that?
I can answer very just quickly, and I'll defer to Mr. Dodge, but Mike Cirillo and I had a conversation with the lawyer assigned from the county attorney's office to the surtax group that's looking at the issue. Commissioner Good is very well on point on the subject of the bondability issue. The county has not given a final definitive answer as far as I know, but they've raised the bar on what the problems are. They've certainly raised those issues, but I don't believe that there's been any definitive answer except the concept you just described, Mayor, and that is the city may have to take a different theoretical position of pledging its credit in the context of a covenant to budget and appropriate to support the surtax, because
So it really becomes more of a bond council question than it is a programmatic kind of a question.
because a bond lawyer who protects bondholders has to opine that there's sufficient security to protect the bondholders. Correct?
I'm assuming, Commissioner Good, that's part of the hesitance, is that they know that there's a concern, but it's not really in their bailiwick. In other words, what the lawyers are saying, this is more of a bond counsel issue of how you underwrite the bonds. And there's nothing more solid than the city's full faith and credit. But knowing that these dollars are coming in and explaining to the public that there will be no tax impact to them, I think is at the end of the day, is the solution to the thing. But go ahead.
No, that's fine. I mean, there's a lot of nuances here. I mean, we could sit here probably for hours, discussing each one. So the goal here is just to, see if we can get, all the cities are, participate in the MPO, and this is probably the best venue for that dialogue to take place, because every city is very, very interested in this as well, too. So hopefully we can get to a point where it becomes a great asset for us. So the second thing is that, there were 3 items in particular that actually were dealing with Broward County Aviation because they get funding from, MPO and the state and of course the FAA, and it runs through the MPO. So 2 of the items got deferred because nobody from BCAD was there, and one of the items got denied. And that one item that got denied was actually dealing with the Perry Airport and the funding for the tower. So there was about nearly $6 million that was pledged to build a new tower at the Perry Airport, which happens to be a huge safety issue for that airport. And the motion or what FDOT was doing on behalf of Broward County was asking for it to be defunded and to defer it to some later date and move that money somewhere else. And so probably what's rather interesting is that of the nearly $6 million, only $90,000 was actually DOT money. The other $5.5 million was actually So what's rather interesting is that the FAA actually gives money to all airports throughout our nation. And everybody gets a bit of money based on, type of operations they get and things like that. So BCAD asked DOT, I guess, and to defer any work on that tower. And so DOT actually stood there and took the heat. I don't know why they did that, but they did. And so that item actually got denied. And my colleagues on the MPO board voted unanimously to not defund and to retain the funding in order to have the tower built over at Perry Airport. It's supposed to be built starting like now. So we're going to find out what happens with that next, but it certainly is something that we believe is very, very important to the airport, because it shows that we're concerned about the safety, and this is a good step towards ensuring that there is safety.
If I may, Mayor, on very, very brief on this. I was disappointed in the defunding position that was taken. I appreciate the MPO doing its part. Now, Director Gale said that and this is encouched in his comments at the town hall about an FAA staff. The Federal Regulations 7110.65 is what is the regulation for air traffic controllers. That is what must be followed, just like police officers have a statute that they must follow. Those are the rules of the road. And an FAA tower and a contracted tower are mandated to follow 7110.65 without question. Perry Tower went contract in 1990. I was there the day that they flipped the switch. I was also there when we supported the county's efforts to fight sequestration back in 2014 and fund the tower to keep that going while the Congress figured it all out. Here's the issue with the FAA. Whenever you hear the federal government shutting down, that includes the FAA, because you have discretionary and non-discretionary funds. The FAA is a part of the National Park Service discretionary funds. So every time Washington goes down, that means that any projects that are planned get pushed out and get pushed out and get pushed out. There was, during the master plan in 2018, 17, 18, 19, the proposed new tower was a part of that process. It's now 10 years out. And the concern, the reason why the FAA just, let's say, well, can't the FAA just go back into the tower now? It no longer meets the FAA standards of working conditions. And so they literally have phones that may not have been changed since the Nixon administration. That's the technology. And so the funding that was available don't need the millions of dollars, just need some of it in order to improve working conditions, like air conditioning, and getting rid of mold and getting rid of water leaks. So I would hope that the county finds a way in their budget this year to put those things on the table, because there's 11 people who go to work every week in that tower to keep the community safe. And if there was an increase in the number of hours of operation, say from 9, a small window from 9 p.m. to 11, that requires 3 additional employees going into that tower, which currently under a contracted tower, they have a maximum under the federal contract, no more than 11 controllers at any facility. So this would be an exception that would have to go through the FAA, and RVA is our contracted vendor. But is it possible and plausible? Yes, but it's going to require a negotiation at the federal government level, not at the BCAD level, in order for those things to move forward. One of the things that we would actually have an opportunity would be able to support the new tower, because of the height, it must come here. So I'm glad to hear that there's support for that at the MPO level. I'm really happy about that. Now, the current height of the tower, they're looking at raising it a few more feet. I'll just leave it at that. It will allow more visual, not from the air standpoint, but actually from the ground. This is important because the human eye can only see so far away horizontally. Okay, so it's actually being able to move aircraft more efficiently on the ground. So I'm happy to hear that the MPO, Commissioner, I'm happy the MPO took that position. I have not found an individual in aviation who is not in the same, who disagrees with the MPO's decision.
No.
There's not one.
We understand that there's a lot of folks that say that's an antique that's there now, so.
Well,
But,
and let me know when
You
you
had
want.
two other items?
Yeah, let me know when you want to take a tour, Commissioner Good, of the tower. I can make arrangements for it, so you can see and you can educate your colleagues at the MPO of what it is, what the working conditions are. I can set that up for you tomorrow if you want. Just let me know.
Thank you. And they did show strong support, so we're very, very fortunate. Mr. Mayor, I'm done on my report. Thank you.
Okay, anything further? Hearing none, this
Mr.
meeting.
Mayor?
Yes.
You
Did
didn't
you have one?
Yeah, I have.
I'm sorry, go right ahead.
For once, I have a city manager's report. I received communication from the superintendent of schools, Broward County, regarding the under-enrolled schools that we have in Pembroke Pines. They indicated there will be a public hearing on September 29th at Flanagan High School to allow the parents to have input because on that list, there were a significant number of schools in Pembroke Pines that are under-enrolled. One of the things the superintendent has mentioned to me, and I think he's addressing all cities that way, are there any opportunities for any kind of sharing of spaces for other uses for the city? The one item that came up, and the superintendent asked me to bring it forward to the commission as to what your thoughts might be. For a number of years now, we have expressed an interest in Walter C. Young as a school that's under-enrolled, a middle school. Pines Middle is under-enrolled. Silver Trail Middle is under-enrolled. And there may be an opportunity there now at this point in time in order for them to fill the seats at all those kind of schools, that school might be able to be relinquished to the city, but they really wanted to know from the city commission if that were to occur, would they be in support of that?
So my understanding is the city of Pembroke Pines owns the land.
No, we own the school. We own the land
We own
and
the
the
school,
school.
and so we own the building and the school. And what do we
Yes.
lease it to them for $1 a year or something?
Yes, we have. And
What's the history of that? How did that happen?
That started probably in about 1978, 79, when there was a committee of Pembroke Pines residents that formed a community school board. And that came about actually through Representative Walter Young in providing a school that could be used both as a school, a community school, adult education, recreational program. And it started out in that fashion and worked very, very well for a number of years. But then over time, there were some issues with some of the operations. So it ended up being more of just a traditional middle school. So that lease is up, I think, in about 9 or 10 years, and it reverts back to the city. But at this point in time, if the school is under-enrolled and you have other schools under-enrolled, the district may be looking at combining schools throughout Broward County, but they also want to know what the use of the facilities they give up would be used for. One of the things that we had suggested a long time ago, that would be a great location for workforce housing. So that's something we were looking at. We also looked at another school called Pine Lakes, which is adjacent to our senior center. That is an under-enrolled school, but the facility is large, and it's probably a school you probably wouldn't want to recommend closing, but they have some facilities there that might be beneficial to our senior center. It's next door. There's a huge parking lot, and there's some facilities there. And as you know, as part of our strategic plan, we were going to enlarge the senior center. We needed additional parking. And in this case, it might make sense for us, rather than invest money in new construction and moving things around, maybe to provide those funds to the district, which they do need, and we would gain those spaces. We have scheduled soon a tour of it to see if that would work. But those are some of the ideas that I think the district is looking at district-wide among all cities if there can be some ways that we work together. So I just wanted your thoughts on those two items that we came up with at this time as to how you feel about that, because they wanted us to share that back with them. The superintendent did not want to not promote, but to share that with his board unless he knew the city commission was serious about looking at some of these issues.
I'm happy to start that conversation. I think it's very, very unfortunate that any of these public schools, which are near and dear to families in our city, should have to close. But the school board, having made this plain, just on the fact that they have under-enrolled schools, some schools are going to have to close, and I think it really is their judgment which ones do. I can absolutely see the common sense of returning to the city land that it owns. I can see the common sense of that. Because in the fullness of time, and trust me, 9 years go by very, very fast, when it comes time to renew a lease with the school board for the use of that land, we're going to have to charge the market value, because otherwise we're going to be exposed to an IG complaint or something along these lines. We can't continue to be subsidizing other units of government when, in fact, there are others who would be more than willing to pay market value. That's going to make that or sell it to them, assuming they're in the financial position to buy it. That's many, many, many million, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of land. So I really think that if something has to happen, they should take into account, do they own the land, so that they can control what the future of that use is going to be. Obviously, if there's more than one school and that unfortunately needs to close, and the synergy of location of one works better for the community than another, they should work with that. But I think that consideration is secondary to what the needs of the children are and what the needs of the families are. And in particular, I think there are several schools that are affected in eastern part of Pembroke Pines. I'm as concerned about them as I am in the western part of Pembroke Pines. Under several scenarios, the western part of Pembroke Pines would lose a middle school altogether. That can't be allowed to happen. There must be middle schools in every part of the city, or it just doesn't work. So I would encourage you to meet with them and to talk about, what is the practicality of organizing their thoughts if they have to take this unfortunate step, which frankly none of us should look forward to. I certainly don't. But if they must take these steps within our city, which are the properties that make the most sense to close down? Walter C. is a pretty beat-up place. I've been there many, many times. As schools go, it is a location that really, really needs a lot of help. So if they're going to stay there, they have to upgrade it significantly. I wasn't exactly familiar with the history, but you say it goes back to 1973?
78.
78, okay.
Yes. The school doesn't. That's when the planning started. The state funding, as well as the city's bonding of it, I believe was around 87, but it took a number of years to put the projects together.
It's pretty beat up. And when you go there, it's a little bit depressing to see. I remember how it was in the 90s when I saw it, and it was an uplifting experience. I remember, I forget what his name was, Marsh. What was his name?
Marsh and Adams.
Yeah, and they used to have shows there, and I remember Lisa and I used to go there. I recall that's where, yes, Terry Stewart used to sing there. I remember that's where Mayor Ortis fought LT, remember? No, it was at Walter C. It was at Walter C. We used to have
the marquee on Pines Boulevard.
no, what is it? Night Out.
Yeah.
Pines Night Out or.
Yeah.
the-
I think that's what
We used to do a lot of stuff there, and it can't be done anymore because, you know, it's just, it's a problem, and there's never enough parking, and it's just difficult. So I would say that certainly when it comes to a location that they don't own, that they lease, those are probably the wisest and there's several of them around the county. Those are probably, from a business perspective, the ones that they should be looking at. Because, I mean, from a business perspective, that's what makes sense. But there are other considerations. The best interest of the young people comes first, and how they can, you know, fit all of their programs into other schools for repurposing makes sense. It's an unfortunate situation, but if they have to let go of a school, I would think that the ones that they don't own should be tops on the list.
Mayor, Mr. Dodge and I have spoken about both locations over a period of years at this point. Pines Lakes, if you recall, Commission, or Mayor, when we had the A through F grades and going back to 2015, we were able to get some new leadership at the school, and it turned around. But Renaissance Charter School was built in the shopping center across the street as a direct result of the school performance. And there was an opportunity then for us to, as a city, to be able to use the facility in a different form than what's being suggested now. But I've spoken with the Director Schechter and his team with respect to parking. I mean, I was at the focal point on Monday for the health expo with the Chamber of Commerce. The place was packed with cars. And it prevents people from enjoying the facility. And I've said it just doesn't make any sense why we can't utilize part of Pines Lake's asset to just for parking. Let's just start there. Just for the parking portion would be a tremendous help, let alone some of the buildings on campus. And it's a beautiful campus.
It is.
When you see what you see from the street isn't even close. Like when you walk into a house, go, I didn't realize this house was so big. That's what happens when you walk into Pines Lakes. It's just very, very deep once you get through the front door. Walter C. I have full confidence in Dr. Hepburn's ability to lead Broward County, and if he needs my support to have a conversation, he has my support to have that conversation. That doesn't mean we're going to get to a conclusion. He has a board that he needs to speak to and that sort of thing. But what really bothers me, though, is this notion of potential closure of a middle school in West Pines, and it's the only middle school in West Pines.
Yes,
yeah.
Fred.
I don't believe that's an issue at this point
No,
in time.
Okay.
that a lot of the schools.
We discussed that. and
Okay.
I
Well,
don't believe
if
Silver
that's
Trail-
off the table,
Okay.
I would encourage a press release saying it's off the table.
A lot of the schools that list, while they are under enrolled, it doesn't mean that they're going to be closed. It means that they may be impacted if some other school is closed. So in the case of Walter C. or any other middle school, the students would be diverted to Silver Trail, and that's why it's on the list. It doesn't necessarily mean that was part of the discussion.
Thank you, Commissioner. What I'm really
I
interested.
hesitate to insert this because I didn't before, and I think Commissioner's about to say it. I'm not interested in opening up more charter schools. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm not interested in that.
What I'm interested in is something I've been advocating for years now, and that's the school board opening up their facilities for us to use our recreation in their facility, like basketball. Pines Middle would have been a perfect example that would have resolved. I mean, we have a need right now for it on the east side. There are opportunities in school board facilities that they own, Mayor, that they own the land, they own the buildings, that they could partner with us to allow more recreation in our community. And that's something I think we can share together. I'm looking forward to having a conversation with Dr. Hepburn. I think it's the proper step, Mr. Dodge, that you're bringing this here. He's a superintendent of Broward County, and he's showing real leadership right now, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you giving us an ability to weigh in. The 29th is the beginning of a conversation, not the end of one. I do believe that we do have to bring this in for a landing at some point, but I don't want to limit our request with the superintendent to just limit it to whether or not they get out of a lease and we let them go. I want to look at the park and recreation side of things so that we can enhance community opportunities. Because why are we spending money twice and all we're doing is just dividing the community, half go here, half go there, and the place is half empty. Okay. When it comes to the recreation side of it, we can really do, I think, some really good things by just opening up some opportunities that I see out there. Thanks.
Commissioner Rodriguez.
So I'm inclined to support that first kind of discussion point on Walter C. Young. I do want to wait until September 27th, I believe is 29th, sorry, September 29th, to hear what the community has to say. Like the mayor mentioned, they come first and the kids come first. I've been watching a lot of the school board meetings lately because of this discussion, and there really is truly a need to right-size that district, mostly because of our affordability crisis and low birth rates. There's nothing that they can do regarding programming that's going to increase birth rates or our affordability. And if we do commit to working in partnership with them on a project such as Walter C., I think we need to commit to working on solving those kinds of issues. So you mentioned workforce and affordable housing, and I would like to be able to benefit some of the teachers and our police officers and the people who serve our community and that work in those schools. If the unfortunate choice is to come that they have to close a couple schools, and we can help ease that burden in a sense by providing some other kind of alternative solution in housing, I would be very inclined to support that, obviously with the caveat of waiting to see what the community says. But it would be a really good opportunity for us to redevelop what is that building into something that can serve all of us, not just the school board and independently of the city, but all of us as a community. And I think keeping in mind, especially when the discussions are happening, what we're talking about is our communities, and right now they're spread into these different buildings that are under-enrolled, but it doesn't mean that the community or the aspect or the teachers change, because the teachers follow the students out to whatever school they get rerouted to. So keeping in mind that the conversation right now is on the expenses of these buildings, and assuring our communities that we are going to do all that we can as a city in which they're hosted, and even if it's not like our charter schools, to better that relationship and to ease any kind of movement that they may have going on in the future and be part of that conversation.
Okay.
And then on the Pines Lakes, I saw kind of the site plans. If the facility is of use, I think that would be a great opportunity for them to use a little bit less space and for us to have, especially on the parking side, for the senior center.
Wonderful. Commissioner Good.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, yeah, a lot of interesting things, and I guess if we had more time to mold this, I think we're going to probably have even better ideas. But
yeah, this is just the first
yeah.
cut.
So, I mean, you know, several things that first come into my head is anything about a land swap? Like, I mean, if we have, you know, the Walter C. Young, does it make sense to have a swap with Pine Lake?
Oh. No, we own it. No, they're two different situations. Walter C. is over 25 acres. And
okay, so
Pine
it's
Lake
an
is
acreage issue.
About
okay.
5.
All right,
yeah.
well, that was one of the things that I was going to
No.
actually ask about.
Mhm.
I mean, maybe 2 for 1, who knows? But So, I mean, I do like the idea about the Pine Lake. I do know the challenges that we have over at the senior center and the senior living there too. They're having it just as bad as the center is itself. And then I also start thinking about, well, gee whiz, what a great opportunity. You know, Commissioner Schwartz, you know, made reference about recreational activities, you know, primarily here on the east side. And on the west side, there are some really great recreational activities, particularly because we partner with the YMCA. And that brings, it's a great asset for the folks that live, you know, within that proximity of that facility. And this might be an opportunity to create a YMCA type of facility here as well, too. Maybe not the YMCA, I mean, but it could be anything, any other agency or group that is capable of performing that kind of service.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and it's really desperately needed here on the east side. I'm just going to tell you right now, we need those kind of activities, and so this is an interesting opportunity to explore that as well. And then too, I'm just going to say it when we talk about you know, workforce housing, I still am more focused on the affordability of housing, not workforce housing. You know, there are a number of young adults that don't even make the income that a workforce housing income makes, and they still are not going to be able to afford it. So there might be opportunities to look at young professionals that are not necessary, that are in the affordable range as opposed to the workforce range. You know, and maybe those are conversations we can have going forward. But I will tell you, and I'm making the statement now, workforce housing is great. I think we've already got plenty of them. I think we need to focus on the affordability of housing and focus on young professionals, because even teachers can't afford workforce housing living. So,
Vice Mayor?
In addition, I appreciate what you mentioned, Mr. Manager, and it's encouraging that the superintendent reached out to you. I also plan on attending on the 29th. I had spoken with our school board member for my area, Rebecca Thompson, who had personally asked me. I'm sure she asked Commissioner Rodriguez to also attend. So unless circumstances change, I will be there. I did want to comment. I've been discussing with her on about several schools in the areas that Commissioner Rodriguez and I represent out west. Highly unlikely that Silver Trail Middle will be impacted. It is, of course, on the map or on a list, and that is because of, I don't want to repeat what Commissioner Rodriguez said, impacts to other area schools may impact Silver Trail. Silver Trail is at 82% capacity, though. It's not at 60 or 50 like we've had in other areas. It's at 82% capacity. I know that. I take a special interest, full disclosure. My son attends there, so I care very much for that school. But I do believe that the conversation with Walter C. Young, you and I, manager, have spoken about it in our various conversations in your office about different issues. So I'm all for the conversation. I would say we should also be engaging with the elected members of not just those districts, but also our countywide representatives, because they have 2 countywide electeds on that board. Those are my thoughts. Thank you.
You got enough, Ms. Dodge?
Yes, Mayor, I do. Thank you.
Is there anything else on your end?
No, there is not.
City Attorney, anything on it?
Nothing further, Mayor. Thank you.
So, Ms. Fink, we have our friends from Columbia, and I think they wanted to do something. You want us to come down? Okay, let's all 5 of us, let's come down.
Pido un permiso al alcalde Ángelo Castillo, a los comisionados para hacer entrega de unos presentes, uno que con mucho cariño hemos traído para ustedes y unos reconocimientos también. Entonces vamos a proceder con la entrega oficial por parte del director de Seguridad y Convivencia, del asesor del Cónsul General de Colombia en Miami, el doctor John Ospina y su familia, y por parte mía como alcalde, querido colega Ángelo, con todo el cariño para ustedes y para los comisionados, acá que estamos acá presentes.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And there's a book.
Pleasure. Vamos acá y nos vamos a tomar. ¿Cierto? Eso.
Okay, why don't we organize a photo over by the flag?
Yes, absolutely.
Well done. You're next week.
Maria, those are official capacity gifts, not to worry. Hey, Tom, those are official capacity gifts. Good.
Commissioner? Yeah. Not yet, but I'm going to. All right, the meeting's adjourned.
We'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah.